zero in. Meaning full focus, no distractions, no doubts. Where hesitations die and champions rise.
Jumping out.
One enemy remaining.
One more.
Oh my god!
Oh,
20 teams, 3 days, $10,000. An unforgiving bracket.
Remaining.
Hit clear.
Oh my god!
Omar.
Who has what it takes to show everyone what it means to be zeroed in.
One enemy remaining.
Wink on me. What?
Welcome to Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Yet another fun Haver weekend. Another weekend of fun for us here. And yet another Valorant tournament. We are in the lovely streets of downtown Philadelphia, Broad and Callow Hill, bringing you yet another $10,000 tournament from this beautiful city. And so far this weekend, it has been electrifying. We have had 20 teams, $10,000 on the line. And folks, we have two casters. One of them, maybe not so great. The other one, fantastic. Tenric, what's up, buddy?
Guess which one, I guess. But it's been a fantastic tournament.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right, Upmind. It's been so fun to watch all these teams come through, and such a competitive tournament as well.
Yeah.
We've seen so many close matches in places that you couldn't possibly expect to.
Absolutely. In the group stage, at the bare minimum, as we zoom out a little bit and we start to look at the bracket, we start to see some of the action that's already been going on. Because for those tuning in for the very first time, this is already day 2. Yesterday, we had 20 teams come in. Today, we have 16. Yesterday, we already had, what? We had, doing the math, 4 teams eliminated, but it was a little bit complicated. We had maybe 3-4 teams eliminated from the Swiss stage, and then we had yet another round robin format for you guys to just kind of weed out the extra teams. And as you guys do see some of the wrap up from yesterday, one thing becomes a little bit certain: the teams that you expected to go through, of course, did. There's really only 1 or 2 surprises here.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, all the challengers teams that we expected to make it through came through. A lot of the bigger pug stacks as well. As you can see, 16 of the 20 teams got into that Swiss stage, and 3 ended up having to play in a play-in tournament this morning. One of those teams got eliminated. That was We Have Paper Rex at home. On top of that, the 2 teams that went 0-3 in the Swiss were also eliminated. And then, like you said, we had that 4-team round robin as well to determine the other 3 teams making it to the 16-team playoff today. Yep. But, I mean, those top teams have been performing as well as ever. Pigeons and Blue Water going 3-0. And, I mean, the rest of this pool is right behind them, really.
Right, absolutely. I mean, you still have some players that have experience versus some of the best in North America very recently, just in the last 6 months, just in the last year. They show up to LAN. You would like to think that this is the environment to really bring out the best of their play, and you still had teams like Pigeons, who some of the players maybe might have had a little bit of a hiatus, but they came back to LAN with that muscle memory fully firing. And just, again, I mentioned Pigeons. They come in 3-0, not exactly expected, just from the fact that they just don't have that experience as the full 5 right now. But you also look towards a team maybe like Abda's Daycare. They had the experience to show up. Even Arrival 7 had a lot of experience in the last few months in the Fun Havers, had a lot of success, getting real close to the grand finals multiple times. And even then, both teams eliminated.
Yeah, no longer available to
enemy
play,
remaining.
starting even today with that 16-team bracket. And it gets even more brutal from here. Single elimination, sudden death, the whole way through from here, all for that $10,000 prize pool. But like you said before, these players have really been popping off. You expect a little bit of warm-up coming into these LANs normally, maybe a couple jitters, but genuinely, everyone has been so locked in. Everyone has been absolute aimers. It's been unreal to watch.
Like every single person, I want to say,
enemy
who
remaining.
they had the opportunity to come to LAN for the first time today, they came out and they absolutely showed out. There's players who, again, who we almost claim that were LAN dodgers, and they're here doing their business, monkey business.
One
So
enemy remaining.
on the screen, let's
look
go,
at the
baby.
screen right there.
Let's go, baby. That's the name. That's the guy.
Hey, we'll see more in a second. Don't you
Absolutely.
worry.
Yeah, no, we should see more of him, but anyway.
Enemy remaining.
Oh, there he is.
Yeah,
No.
I'm telling you. I mean,
Look at that. Look at that.
anyway.
Ooh.
Okay, stop.
That's a sub, by the way, because like, that barely matters. Yeah.
But seriously, I mean, it is really hard to overstate how good and high the bar has been for the beginning of this tournament. The fact that it's only evolving from here, and the teams are hopefully a little more well-rested coming into today. That makes me more excited than ever.
Well.
But it gets really brutal from here, genuinely. I mean, we're about to lose 8 teams in one fell swoop here.
Yeah, and those games are going to be happening throughout the venue, ladies and gentlemen. So the screaming, the yelling, the sights, the sounds, the smells, not so much the smells, but I'm sure you guys can assume this place is going to be rocking within the next half hour to an hour. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you guys want updates on the rest of the games, we have a link over on Battlefy. We have the page over on VLR, but we have to zero in on our game.
Yeah, these two teams that we're starting out with in the round of 16, they've been formidable, but they've yet to put on a performance that's really given them an identity here at the tournament, and they're looking to do it with this one. Liability and Co. versus Dynamo in this first matchup. This is Liability and Co. hopping in from the round robin. They did pretty well performed against some of those teams that were a little later to the party. And then meanwhile, Dynamo really overperformed actually in their Swiss bracket. They performed incredibly well. Actually came up against some tier 2, tier 2.5 teams that had a lot more experience than them and really showed out.
Yeah, Dynamo, if anything, they're carrying that reputation from online because they were able to face teams like SAD Esports and Blue Water in very important games, and they were still able to take that. But when it comes to Liability and Co., a couple of very familiar names, to be honest. You have Evo coming in and Leone. Evo and Leone, to me, only familiar because these guys actually rocked the high school scene coming out in the last 2 to 3 years. But otherwise, they were just looking for that next opportunity, that next step. Leone, specifically, has been able to find his footing. In the last 2 months, Leone, he has played for 6 rosters. 2 months, 6 different rosters. He does have one teammate with him here that has stuck with him since the very beginning, but even with that sort of reputation, we have these sort of stats from Leone.
I mean, it is definitely pretty interesting seeing how much Leone is able to do with what little he's been handed, like on the fly from team to team. And Liability and Co. is no different. He's taken a lot of that burden, a lot of that extra responsibility that players in a pug stack simply have to. And against, you know, a team as intelligent as Dynamo. But, you know, coming into this matchup, Leone, along with the rest of the team, they've all been super vibey coming into this. They've been very friendly, very charismatic, just excited to play at the end of the day. And I think that's the right way to approach this.
Exactly. The way that I'm looking at Liability and Co. Just from prior experience, seeing money squads, pug squads, as we like to say. These are just 5 players that, you know, they might not have had the best of opportunities online, but they all know each other very well. They play with each other naturally. They play matchmaking together. They talk to each other on a regular basis. These are friends at the end of the day. Maybe not so much the closest of friends, but these are the best playing friends that you know. So if anything, again, that just brings that little bit of a different energy. That the stakes, at least for these guys, are just significantly lower in comparison to a team like Dynamo on the other side that does have a sponsor, that does have players with that high expectation who have playing all together for these last 5 months, and they should, for these last few months, but they should, in theory, have a realistic expectation, have an expectation. If they fall short of that, they're going to take that very close to their hearts. If Liability and Co. end up losing a map, losing a bad round, they're just going to go out to K-Pot later on.
Right,
tonight.
yeah,
It's just,
exactly. We sort it all
nothing
out
bad
of the
will
remix.
happen. Nothing ever happens.
Yeah, I agree. I think that, you know, teams coming in here, we've gotten to speak with them a decent amount already, that they have very different mentalities coming into this. Some of them just want to gain that experience and make a name for themselves, and then some, they want to break it out to the top. But Leone, like you said, he's been hopping from team to team. He's had a lot to say. We got a chance to sit down with him a little bit going into this match. Let's see what he had to say. there, guys. I'm here with Leone from Liability and Co. Into the round of 16. Leone, glad to playoffs. How are you guys feeling?
I'm good. You know, I'm looking to have some little Cinderella story with my pug squad of my boys. Just a few friends I had from like collegiate trials and stuff.
Yes, correct. Yes, correct. So yeah. So it explained to me the mentality here of Leone.
Yes, I guess I do have to explain for him, don't I? He's been very mobile, I think is the thing to talk about more than anything else, and not just by a team standpoint, but he's been very willing to flap from task to task, be willing to sort of assist anybody when it comes down to the end of the day. But more than anything, he's going to frag. He's going to shoot. That's what he's talking about more than anything else. He is so confident in his mechanics. He is the classic North American player.
Beautiful, beautiful. And again, you can't, that has to be an expectation because again, for these players, they just didn't have that sort of preparation time. You're not going to be able to see the strats. If anything, it has to be raw. It has to be the comfortable characters for all of these players, and it has to be the comfortable play style. So Leone, from what I saw from this guy back in the day, when of course, the showcase that I was talking about with Leone, he was completely on his own. The spotlight was on him. He was an MVP for that entire showcase. And what we ended up seeing there is what we can see in terms of the clips. But we do have yet another interview, Dynamo, for us. Oh, never mind.
We did interview Dynamo, but I'm sure we'll get to see that a little later. But they got a game to play, man.
Yeah,
they got
sure do.
They got a match to get into, and man, they've been looking good coming into this, haven't they? All the players have been tuned in, so intelligent, and in practice, it's looked so beautiful to watch. It doesn't seem like they have a completely rigid game plan just yet, but they're getting there. They're getting so close.
And that's just to say, again, this team as a full five, even just as a core in general, they've only been together for 2 months, but only one individual has been able to come and go from this lineup. The fact that almost all 5 have been able to come together on LAN this early on in that project, super important for their development, but you also get to see just a little bit of a showcase from these players where we haven't been able to see them in full team experiences on LAN. Again, before there were maybe like players like Leone where they come in with that pug squad and they weren't able to give out their best look. At this point, we're seeing players like Stunna and Scotty start to step up to the plate.
Yeah, and players like Blank and Raccoon and Truth come out to support the community and frag out in the meantime. It's just a great showing of the environment as a whole. But like you said, a great place to really showcase the fragging potential of a couple new players. And the ones that stand out both number-wise and on the field so far have been Scotty and Stunna. They have been lighting up those kill feeds on the front line.
Yeah, it's been incredible so far, at least in the hands of Scotty. It's been a little bit unexpected, to say the least, purely because of the role. But in terms of what we expect from, again, the online showcase, just the fragging, Stunna, he has been one of the best players ADR-wise, ACS-wise, and he's just sticking to the duelists. We should be getting into the game very, very soon. But again, just to kind of set these expectations, again, one side, they do have sort of that organization. They should have an expectation. The other side, they're throwing it completely out in the wind. You pick one team to play for. Who are you playing for?
Oh, it's so tough because while I love that like happy-go-lucky W kill mentality, I'm also not very good at the game. So I feel like me just getting told what to do and executing it perfectly, as long as, however far that gets me, I feel a little bit better. So personally, I'd probably say Dynamo, but I think it's really tough to choose what team to play for. Luckily, I don't have to. The teams are making the decisions for me. And they've also chosen maps. We have our best of 3 for this first round of 16. And we're going to be starting out on Haven. That was the pick of Liability and Co, despite the fact that they've only played that once so far this tournament, and they dropped it.
Yeah, they dropped it, and then you have the other team that completely swept it.
Yeah, Dynamo's been looking really good on Haven. And for that matter, they look good on their pick, too, of Icebox. This is already looking like a really good veto coming from them. I'm honestly a little bit surprised that we saw an early Sunset ban coming from Dynamo. I feel like they'd really have like at the time of their life on that. That feels like a playground for them, especially with the slight bit of structure that they have added on.
Right, but if anything, this does allow for a team like Liability to, at least in Haven, everyone can stick to their own. They don't have to communicate all too much. They just have to communicate in terms of the initial push. That's it. The fast rotations is just expected. You know what I mean? Haven is just that classic Valorant map. And it's the same thing with Icebox. With how tight the angles are, with how tight a lot of those choke points are, you can really start to scale all the way up with just a little bit of utility, a couple of smokes. You cover up your steps, and you get as close as possible to site without shooting a single bullet. You have all 3 players, all 4 players, all 5 players grouped up on attack. grouping up against 2 or 3 defenders, and you're right in their faces. That just throws all caution into the wind. And if anything, these 2 first maps, they do allow for a little bit of that chaos, which liability needs.
Step by step, Liability and Co. They got to try and get it done. And step by step, they're about to walk out on that stage. Let's give it up for Liability and Co. playing in their stage match.
Woo! Listen, ladies and gentlemen, Liability stepping up to the plate.
They're looking
These
clean.
boys want the W. Stepping in with some chutzpah, I'd like to say. Look at them. Look at the
they're
stature.
dripping in aura. Look at them.
Love it.
They're ready to play.
That's Liability and Co. Let's go, boys. Looking for the update.
They
We're
really,
looking for the upset.
they really have been close, especially here on the LAN. You've seen them already kind of, bond a lot more like in this close quarters environment, and obviously everyone's here all day, so not like you can escape them either. So
No, and everyone's been basically playing against each other for the last, at least for the last like 3 months for these Fun Haver qualifiers, and like especially guys like Leone, he has literally been playing with basically everyone that he's facing right now.
Right, yeah, at least once before. Yeah, it'll feel right at home, except on the stage, obviously. Definitely a different environment to play in, especially as a pug stack. But hey, that's why you come to a place like this. You play to play on the stage.
And on the other side, we are going to have the one, the only, the giants of this matchup, Dynamo.
Here they come,
Look at them.
taking their spot.
Oh, Lord, they're coming.
Oh,
Oh, Lord, they're coming.
like a siege tank.
The McDonald's drip is crazy. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. On one side, we have Coca-Cola All-Star, and on the other side, a McDonald's All-Star. Incredible.
I got a whole Happy
Incredible.
Meal.
The whole Happy Meal. Unbelievable. The Happy Meal Super Bowl, the Happy Meal game, unbelievable.
This is the Happy Meal Bowl at the Fun Haver LAN round of 16. But Truth wearing that jersey does kind of speak to the rich past that Dynamo's team members have. Everybody's been on either like Truth, a collegiate squad. Raccoon's been grinding it out both for content and in ranked for as long as you can remember. Scotty and Stunna, they've dipped from team to team to team to team to team. Again, such deep lore for the squad.
Yeah, and at least for these guys individually, they haven't been able to stick that experience, fully. They have been looking for the right roster. They've been looking for that right opportunity a lot. Of course, you can say the same thing for those guys on Liability, but right now they're not exactly looking for that project. Dynamo, they are in the thick of that project that they have been looking for. And a result here on LAN, yeah, of course it would help. But at the end of the day, these guys are just looking for the best result possible, regardless of win or lose, I would like to think.
Well, we'll see how this process goes in Philadelphia. Normally, we don't have a good track record with stuff like
Winning
that.
and losing.
but-
No, it's been better. It's been so much better.
We're getting there. We'll see.
Shout out to the Philadelphia Union. Hey, Messi, he plays in the MLS, right?
Right.
But Philadelphia is #1.
That's true.
That's all you need to know.
We are better than Messi.
We are better than Messi,
And these
baby.
Valorant, I bet any one of these Valorant players could beat Messi in a
Because
1v1
they're in
too.
Philadelphia.
Because we're in Philadelphia. All right. Well, we have our first game up. We're heading to Haven on our first pick here. Liability playing up against Dynamo. It is going to be a banger matchup. Again, sudden death here. The team that loses this match is out of the tournament permanently. Finito, Dunzo,
Ciao.
goodbye. And we've seen both these teams on this map already. Dynamo, they are going for that Envy type comp with blank aims on that ISO. Meanwhile, Liability and Co, they got the Breach KJ combo going.
Yeah, it's nothing far out of the expectation. Again, Liability, the big thing for them is keeping it simple. Everyone playing on their comfort agents at the moment, or at least their comfort roles. And for Dynamo, you had a couple of players bending a little bit with what they've usually been playing online. Scotty has been a little bit more of a flex, but you have to give it up to players like Truth and for Blank for truly being that glue for this team. Because yes, you are gonna stick Stunna, you're gonna stick Raccoon, you're gonna stick Scotty on their current roles. You need a little bit of that variety when it comes to LAN, and they've already been able to figure it out. In terms of the personal comfortability, you have to give it up to the ISO pick here for Blank. It isn't exactly, to me, an amazing pick, but again, this is LAN. This is one of those types of opportunities that you can't exactly give up the rounds. It is the 0 ping, or it is the low ping. It is, on the other side, a team looking for the eco rounds, looking for the random gun battles for them to win out. One-on-ones with the ISO. You don't want to be losing out early interactions like that. But we do have finally our first rounds of day #2 here at 0-in.
Dynamo starting
Nice.
up on the attack.
The Brazil cam is crazy.
Stunna all up in our faces, day one. Ability stacked up on the doors. Dynamo already treks into garage. teams are trying to get away with a lot more stuff because of noise suppression yesterday. You won't see that as much today. Team's going to be a little more trepidatious, maybe start things out a little slower.
Look at the bite here from liability. You already quickly have the response back over towards Garage. It's good for a setup. They had 4 players crunching down on Garage just in case Dynamo was there, but this leaves B a little bit weak. Leon does get into the back. He escapes with no damage onto his body. The reset of the setup here on B.
Able to play to that tempo so far. Still plenty of time for Dynamo, though. And they still have 1, 2. Backed up at window. That cover as that smoke dissipates. In goes Blank. He's meant to be that front line, that man that can take absolutely everything. And he's got everything to throw at it. Into the Link he goes, and that's going to be 1 down for him. Other Link also guarded. Stunna good for the 1 as well, and now he's in the back to deal the rest of the damage. Looks clean so far from Dynamo, as Ian is stuck out at a Link.
Right, that was a big interaction from Caducer. Caducer was there the entire time. He was between C and B Link. The entire interaction that Leone was struggling a little bit. He couldn't get a peek in. Finally, he gets a 1-on-1, and it just doesn't work out. Would have been a 2-on-2 here, but Ian has to take it all on his own. Has to take away the dart. Nobody beating him. This is just right here for Dynamo, and all 3 are combining in the same angle. He's not going to expect it. Beautiful from Dynamo.
Dynamo has been a little more consistent on the pistol rounds, but definitely not happy with how they've been doing so far. I think they were 50-50 straight up coming into this matchup. So a really satisfying start to the round. Blank did his job perfectly, and Stunna's speed on top of that was very necessary. At the end of the day, though, I agree with you, your point about the ISO pick. It's a little bit scary to me for sure. Obviously, the LAN setting, the idea that you can kind of just run
on
it down.
attack, not so much, but it's the defensive setup that I'm really a little bit worried about.
Yeah.
And Haven is just that spread of a map where you are going to have a lot of individual duels.
I think for me, is Blank is just such a chameleon. He can really do anything. Why put him on ISO? It feels restricted a bit. I mean, I guess if you wanted the frag. Raccoon will first, stepping out with a ghost on top of the lane. And Liability and Co. is willing to fight this, but with how much util, it's not like they can burn much. They haven't bought much. Dynamo can keep firing into the fray, hoping they get away with a freebie until they get a lurk pick, and Scotty is perfectly fine sticking around here.
That's a beautiful, beautiful angle from Scotty. So much movement from his team. Nothing else towards the actual inside, but Scotty, he has the cutoff, and he is able to cut them down. 2 big kills from Scotty. Should be a safe finish of the round here for Dynamo. Hold on a minute. 2 players coming in from bottom mid. Evo with a huge shot, but A, completely open, and that's a good response there from Dynamo.
Yeah, LCO's been quick on the response time, though. They've been able to read the attack plan pretty consistently.
Spike planted.
Again, gotten a bit of a slow start. That being said, Dynamo turning on.
Last
Sewer coverage
player
is there, and
standing.
Truth is able to catch Leone, so Evo up a creek without a paddle, but still has to go in and get this thing done.
Oh,
That's actually,
beautiful.
oh, yeah,
Are you
never
kidding
mind.
me?
Get out of there, bro.
The hero rifle going down, that's crazy. What?
Oh, get out of here.
What is this man cooking? Okay, so beautiful. He can try to get 1 shot here off the Sheriff, try to stay a little bit far away, potentially try to go get the gun.
Yeah.
The team should have a buy in the next round. I don't really think he cares, though. He's still going for some exits, so never mind, Evo. Never going to be going for that rifle. Does confuse me a little bit.
How performative.
GLHF, exactly. Performative, as most men.
Imagine if I died right now.
The modern man.
So
Well,
funny.
that is a pretty strict 2-0 from Dynamo to start things out. Nothing crazy to say so far. I will say their pathing has been interrupted already by LCO. They've done a good job of kind of sticking their foot in the door consistently to force them to stop and second guess themselves. The problem is Dynamo has been very good at sort of resetting, soft resetting, and being able to kind of recover from that.
You have a bit of a pause.
And take bomb, Scotty. Give me your sheriff, Scotty. Drop it.
One-way C.
Walk up, yeah, one-way C, and walk up here, and 3, 2, 1 the Sova on the orb. I'm gonna pump C so they think we're grabbing orb there. He's gonna grab orb, and you get a free go.
Break door. Omen short. Keep it.
Nice, nice.
One more long.
Fight that guy.
On the cage. Reach your 2.
Reach us here.
He's still hit.
Can we chill? I can drone. Let me drone. Target blind. He's wide right. 2, 1.
I can blind him. He's gonna flash.
1 enemy remaining.
Blind.
Nice. Let's go, boys. Jump.
Good job, Joshua.
Beautiful take back from Raccoon to secure that bonus round for Dynamo Esports. It looked a little touch and go, but Truth been willing to re-spear tip that A lane really early in that pre-pen. Gave them a lot of time to spread their wings and get settled on A.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, there really wasn't any time for that rotation to really come in strong. Truth did have to stifle that timing. Well done. And you can hear from the columns, that was calm from Dynamo. And now an actual pause. Excuse me, ladies and gentlemen. This time it's the pause. I predicted the pause, if anything.
Exactly, yeah. It was a premonition, nothing more.
Yeah,
seems like we have a bit of a slight PC issue, but
We'll
such
figure that out.
is the nature of the LAN setting.
Yeah.
No worries about that.
Speaking of the nature of this land, by the way, I love the fact that, you know, I talk about the sights and the sounds. Lord, if you guys could see what we're seeing right now on this floor. Listen, the namesake, the one, the only, the fun-having fun-haver. Dude, making literally the most noise this weekend.
He's somehow been the most busiest and the loudest gamer out of them all. I don't know how he does it, but he does it. And
I don't know how he's somehow like some vitamin deficiency. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, how does he not crash at the end of the week?
Yeah, it's
Crazy immune system that man has.
We're all gonna be so tired after this weekend, but it will have been so worth it, and we appreciate y'all at home watching as well, tuning in, supporting your favorite teams, and hate watching your least favorites, because I know some of y'all are doing that too. That always comes around.
Is that happening?
Probably. I don't know.
There's somebody out there.
There's probably someone here that someone on Twitter doesn't like.
Yeah.
I don't know.
These guys. Who could they hate?
I'm not saying they hate anybody. I'm saying people hate them.
No,
I'm saying they got
I'm
haters.
analyzing. No, I'm looking deep. I'm doing
Who's got beef?
Personality
Where's the
analysis.
drama? Where's the drama in
Where
the
the drama
studio?
at?
Let's see.
I don't know why, but I'm looking at a mirror right now.
Dang. That's crazy.
I know. Hey, we're getting back into the game.
Oh, we are.
No gaming.
No.
No gaming. They paused it again.
Dang.
They paused it again.
Shame.
Yeah, I hate to see it, boys.
I do want to say, you know, coming into round 4, this attack already looking really clean from Dynamo.
Yep.
But again, LCO, it seems like they have their finger on the, like they know what the game plan is. It's pretty like steady defaulting and then snaking if they lose like a side of a site. So at the end of the day, how do you shut down the spear tip to force them to slow their actual exec down? Because so far it's just been their pathing that's been slowed down.
Right. You're not seeing any organized aggression early on. I do want to see just a bit of that conditioning. The Omen is still attacking back up towards A main, but this is what you need. You need a little bit of util to go with that smoke. And finally, Ian, the one time that he's able to finally line up some things, he only has a Sheriff to try to sweep it away. But that is that little bit from liability to just get a little bit of util out from Dynamo. Get that information away from this team. Spread them out a little bit thinner in this early round, just so you're not getting guys like Truth actually getting into a comfortable position.
Let T-Man escape into sewer for free. Let him flash himself in, but Truth continuing to hold that line up in the back. So steady, so stable. And with Blank at the front, they have that extra shield on top. Terrific game sense to start off the exec. Now comes the rest of the crunch. Truth can't finalize. T-Man's going to be able to come back and save this. Smoke on top of him too, so Dynamo's got to multitask as they get the spike down.
This is unbelievable. You still have 2 players over towards short too. This is such a crunch here onto Dynamo, but they're not finding anything. Team and Leone taking their time trying to find the angles, and they just don't find any pixels. Finally, a kill comes up from Leone. This has to be a triple from Leone. Leone lines it up, but doesn't find the third. Raccoon took so many bullets to the body. Leone just needed one more.
Yet again, the last one standing, and an even scrappier fight that time. It was so messy down in sewer, and it reopened the fight in such a vivid manner. But once again, crunching through main and just shooting a tiny bit better, it really does get you so far, man.
Yeah.
I can't express that enough. And right now, Dynamo, they're just shooting a tad bit better. Raccoon, 5-1, also has that ultimate up. Blank didn't even have to pull that ult to kite people away. They had the stack, and then they just pushed on top of it.
Dynamo, let's getting into yet another C interaction. Liability and code. It's you and me. For any sort of that early round movement, early round aggression, nothing. They allow one to get taken over, and now the ult is starting to cascade. There goes the show, or there goes a Hunter's Fury, still stun able to get 2 frags, not even using his ultimate either. You still have yet another one in the hands of the Cypher too, but Truth is gonna end up going down, but it just does not matter. The attack there from Dynamo, the Hunter's Fury selects up that back link. You do have the ISO on his own one-on-one. It's just so disastrous there from liability. There's really not much more you can say there.
Yeah, you have to abandon ship at that point for LCO. And I gotta say, I again have so many good things to say about how they approached that round. Caduster in particular with that operator baiting in that ISO ultimate with it, able to tailwind away before the exec happened, and then he's still able to go for coverage. So he baits out that second ultimate, the Hunter's Fury, and he's still able to avoid that for a decent amount of time. The problem is there's just too many people on site at that point. They've had too much time. They've had too much space. Yeah, you were going to clear the board regardless. You had the site anyway. So at the end of the day, just completely overwhelming, and Dynamo intends to do that again onto these last two defenders who might not be able to hold on to this operator. Hey, Caduster gets the kill. Let's go. But that's 5 on the board for Dynamo.
Oh.
Continuing to look better. Oh, double! That's actually major.
That's huge. But okay, let's look at the economy at least right now for Liability and Co, because this is the round for Liability. This is the round for them to get back into this half. And oh my goodness, a neutered buy, to say the very least. They have all of the ultimates that they could possibly want, and they're just not going to be able to do much with it. However, we are talking about the defensive side. We're going to have to focus up on the retakes a little bit, if anything. Liability and Co, these stingers, where are the off angles for them?
Stealing sight.
Such a tough decision to make with such little time. When do you decide to pull that trigger? Do you do it at all this round? Do you go for that retake on top of the Rolling Thunder, or do you just press into stall like you've been doing so well so far?
The approach is in B already.
The Hunter's Fury to respond.
Oh, incredible.
That's a really great angle that Ian's taken. He has a swift vantage to so much of that site. Open season for him. And now the Rolling Thunder coming out from Liability to just double down on where they know the stack is still settled. They know these guys are going to remain confident. And there's a reason. Truth holding out for one at least, but this crunch is so severe. They got more than enough players to deal with it. Truth standing alone, and they're just able to run that down. LCO is on the board.
And it had to come through the retake. It just had to. If those first few interactions, or at least the early read from Liability and Co with some of the, with the garage push, with the push over towards long C, if those weren't going to go correctly, had to come down to that retake. And what a position from Ian. Ian coming in with a Hunter's Fury does spread a little bit of that damage, but had to come down to the Rolling Thunder T-Man. Lovely, lovely stuff finally from Liability and Co. However, magic word for that round, replicate. Can't replicate that round. You just can't.
Yeah, can you say replicate?
Replicate.
Yeah, the cycle is extremely awkward now. 3 and then 2 on the way. You have the Into the Shadows now, and then lockdown in 1. So you could try to just trash the economy real quick. Because again, the rounds have been close as is, but Dynamo again hitting up C-Site. I mean, they've been able to kind of dip into this kitty already, grab a couple freebies and clear space, but they'll back out kind of early. I love that Truth's finally doing this, putting them up here. Start doing this every round, condition that lurk and have someone start getting scared.
And now pulling the rotations from the link once again. It's the same thing that they ended up pulling back in the first round, but they only had pistols to be able to do it. Dynamo getting into the back lane. This is huge control for them. They have to act here. This is going to be a huge crossfire for the Omen. Omen only able to get one, but he's off in the back line for Caducer. Caducer with a second angle, but he turns away too quickly. Blank is able to get both. Just a bad reaction a little bit, but still, 2-on-2. It's a chance here for Liability, but they're going to have to take their time. Like I said about repeating things, or they're replicate. They can't replicate.
Spike planted.
Same agents.
Well, we'll see if they can still hold on to the round regardless.
Could be the same result.
Again, it's been inches every time. Position's not red though, already a rotation from Scotty to the garage. You see Dynamo just so willing to take space and play with it. And re-up into the lane. Their timing on this crunch is so much better. They just have a better idea of when that backline is coming back around. And Ian, once again, late to the party. All but guaranteed now for Dynamo here on Haven. 1 cubby, 1 garage, 1 smoke, 1 more round for Dynamo. 6-1 now on the attack, looking really solid.
What's up? Promising.
Can't complain whatsoever for Dynamo. They start to dig a little bit more into just giving some more responsibilities to individuals. The Cypher up on the mid side, collecting some of those rotations once again, and that was only something that they did through their strat in the first rounds. Something that they hadn't needed to do because they ended up winning 5 rounds after that. So does seem like again these guys are locking in a little bit, but the finish of that round. That was in the hands of Liability. It just was. It just was.
You saw Caducer turn around a little early there. You saw he was gonna, it seemed like he was proccing the tailwind to try and back out to hold garage again. But even so, it feels so wide. And it's like you don't have intel that there's not somebody behind them. It just, again, it feels a little scared, a little nervy.
I'm a little scared. I'm a little scared of what's going on here for liability and co.
You got lockdown now for Ian though, and you got guns back, so you can at least, I don't know, you can play with their hearts a little bit. But again, it's all about timing. It's all about like when do we choose to do this and how much value are we really gonna get out of it.
It's you and me. Oh,
There we go.
Ian just walks right into it.
Yeah.
But again, it is going to be Evo with that lockdown, but it is going to be the win for Ian. Ian out in the open, going to go down to Stunna. No trade from the back to CT. The defender, excuse me, Child Game, doesn't decide to go for that peek. 4 on 3. You're going to have one person away from the group for liability and co, but what a weird spot here for Caduster. Caduster waiting for a peek over towards long, but nobody's going to give him a single pixel. Raccoon, however, this is the angle that the flanker could
Headshot.
could exploit. There goes the kill. Still a 3 on 2. There goes the TP in. The lockdown catches both. They could just defuse at this point, but they're still looking for Stunna before anything else happens. And all right, 6-2. 6-2.
I mean, it's a game plan that is entirely reliant on Raccoon hitting that lockdown with the Hunter's Fury. The fact that Caducer is right there to stab him in the back before he's able to get that third shot down is the difference between them winning that round and them not. They had no backup plan to exit that site as that lockdown persisted, and that's because that lockdown was timed really well. I'm very happy with how Liability and Cope played that. They used, whatever resources they had left to their advantage, and now look at that. They have drained the economy just by winning those 2 rounds and shredding along the way. Look what Raccoon is going for. What a surprise.
Listen, the fact that Liability and Go, the 2 rounds that they held ultimates, they're able to break this down. Fun. But now we get to see Raccoon do what he does best. Run on up with the judge. So nobody's going to be in his line of fire. Evo's going to have to back out. There's none of those ultimates to be able to retake like that. So if anything, Dynamo, they get to get real up close and personal. Get some real close angles into the back of sight. They've given up Barrage.
Spike planted.
Here comes already a retake. Caducer separates every angle just with a single smoke. Nobody else from Dynamo able to peek onto him. And now it's just one-on-one after one-on-one after one-on-one. Caducer farming right now and has 2 more to get. 2 more individuals that are down to the rifle of Caducer. Big round from Caducer. More wind in the sails for Liability. This next round is the big round, though.
It's the perfect round to realize that you're him, though, to put yourself in that position where you know you can take back this map and actually do some damage along the way. That was the moment for Caducer to prove it, and man, did he. Just gunning it down, hitting every shot along the way. Tracking was absolute perfection, and Dynamo, no proper response to it. They did what they could with what they had, and now they got a little more, except Raccoon, because he bought a judge last round, so naturally, we must buy a judge again to make up for that with the economic gap that now has.
Again.
I think we're going to hit a bit of a stride here with what Raccoon's going for.
Incredible. We're here for entertainment. We're here to have fun, aren't we? But tisk. Here comes Caducer over in the long side. Yet another firing range for the man. Able to get 2. T-Man still takes down yet another one, so Caducer has yet another chance at another frag. Make it 3. Man is farming. Liability and Co. slowly building back up. The hype is there, but hey, hold on now.
Show me where to go.
That's way far from over.
Of course, no, still so much more game to play and an attack half to go for into this ISO as well, where you're able to kind of just cradle pushes rather than facilitate the push around it. I don't know. What?
What a slap to the face and long.
Oh, I mean, yeah, no, I mean, it's gonna be rough no matter what for Liability and Co. But Caducer totally activated. Now conditioning that level of aggression. Dynamo once again will not necessarily be as decisive out the gate. They maybe take 30 seconds like they were in those first 2-3 rounds to get that pre-plant going. That allows them to make more mistakes.
All right, Ian, let's see how much fun this man can have. You still have a breach over towards the back of sight. I can at least stifle this choke point, but Leone here starts it off with his own frag over towards the mid side onto True.
They've started punishing him a lot more.
And Dynamo with only Sheriff. They're really going for long range interactions. They're waiting for the peak. Now Ian himself is in yet another firing range. Another showcase of aim for this Liability team, and my goodness, I just can't believe it. It happened so quickly. 5-6.
I didn't even know what happened. It's been going on in a flash. This 3-round streak has been out of nowhere coming from Liability and Co. Some real pop-offs, and I gotta say, again, props to Ian, but that one was so much of T-Man. That fault line into the blind to set up both the lane and the corner, so you have no escape for Stunna, and then no proper backup other than that one choke you have. You have just covered all of lane with just 2 pieces of breach util. I've never seen anything more magical in my life.
It was maybe 2, maybe 3, because he did have a little bit more, just in case there was another man around the corner, right?
He got the action shot still free, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. It was on it. But ladies and gentlemen, Evo has to be on it right now, waiting for that first contact. The Owl Drone is going to probably take him away. Yes, it is. Takes the ping. Hunter's Fury is going for the attackers. Ian, a little bit of an early Hunter's Fury, but that just has to put Evo in the right position to be able to frag, and Evo needs to capitalize, needs a frag or 2 to really make this work. Raccoon's going off, but there goes the kill from Evo. Make it a second. Evo turning around the round, as there's still 2 more to go, but they're both very separated. Alarm bot over in the mid side, huge. Evo staying alive, of course, getting the frags important, but also the util in the mid side. Round's far from over. Scotty already striking down on T-Man, but the spike fully in control of Evo. Doesn't know where this last opponent is, though. Head on a swivel.
Here.
Truth now paired up. You saw him gun it over to that alarm bot and then gun it right back, but Evo now having to take the hard road as well. Trapwire gone, and we will 180 once more. But this time, Dynamo has a free sight for it, and they can set up shop in the back with just a little bit of extra time.
Take the spike.
Evo towards the link. First hit the top is Truth, and he's just running it down. 3 now for KJ. Time to go smoke into the garage, and Evo's just gonna wrap from the link. Has a molly too, can flush out if necessary, and Scotty playing on top of that smoke.
The timing.
He's just stepping out now. He's just looking for it.
Going for the defuse. The sound is not there for the Omen. The Omen's gonna be able to find the angle, gonna find the timing, and there's Scotty with the frag. Dynamo finally gets the round that they've been looking for so long. Yes, they went out on the half. Yes, they looked really good earlier on. But again, it just feels like all of that momentum swung back toward Liability purely because of how quick that was. 6 minutes, 7 minutes, 3-4 rounds taken for Liability.
Yeah, for Dynamo, you don't necessarily see a plan B, you just see a plan A with more steps whenever something goes wrong, right? They still want to go through with the plan that they have, but when they lose a player along the way, they just sort of meld the plan into something a little bit different rather than adjust. Yeah,
see what pieces of util are missing and
exactly.
try to go, yeah.
We're still inserting Truth. We're still having Raccoon go in as the secondary. We're still having Stunna dive into his own cloud bursts. Again, you've seen it all before on Haven, but the fact that Dynamo are doing it almost conventionally to this point, even with the ISO that they have to help spear tip that, it's a little bit disappointing in the tail end of this attack. But Liability and Co, again, the whole time, the macro read has been incredible, and I hope to see that translate on the attack.
Now let's see it. This is really where that individuality maybe show a little bit for the duelists at the bare minimum. Liability and Co. They got Caducer on the front side. He already had an incredible first half, and that was man on defense. Truth, however, is going to be able to take him down. They're still a 4-on-4. Stunna has everything, so does Truth. Scotty getting another frag too. It's a symphony of frags for only one team. Liability and Co. They are stuck down to just Leone. Leone with a good gun to use right now, though, can maybe pick away at a couple of headshots. Things are not lost completely. There goes a flash. Might be able to isolate one. There goes the interaction. Doesn't work out. Leone still not able to get any frags off of this, but it's not like Dynamo are really rushing for this 7 HP, and that was still a little bit more of an opportunity. But overall, great round from Dynamo.
Yeah, fantastic stuff. And I mean, a lot of that comes from purely the timing on Raccoon's recon dart inside that smoke. So perfectly timed that no one turns to it as they're about to start their exec, and no one has enough util to shroud themselves in the firing range that starts up right after that. You have 2 sheriffs staring down your gullet, and Stunna and Scotty are the ones holding them. You're gonna die if you're in the front line of lane. It's pretty cooked. Another massively influential round here for Dynamo, winning that pistol for the second time this game. Huge to let him go through.
Just throw caution to the wind here if you're Liability. This is going to be a fun round. Raccoon, it's all going to be on him. Hold on a minute. And was going to be a bit of a chance. Here, adjust the setup here. Yes, Raccoon does have the shotgun as that one-shot potential, but I mean, the classics, they also basically act as shotguns too, so an eye for an eye, maybe. Stunna, however, in the mid side with an outlaw. Might be looking at a couple players with armor, so that might affect him, but Stunna not going to find any other interactions. This is Liability being as safe as possible. In a round where they don't have much to work with, okay, I'm interested.
The interesting thing to me is that, like, I guess they're really trying to find a place to settle because they know when they commit, there's not really much that can stop them. With no breach, really, the only things you have to stop you are the Cypher util and then the paranoia to slow you down in the mid phase of the free plant. But I mean, once you're on, if you clear that board, if you line up your shots, you should be fine. Paranoia out from Scotty is timed so perfectly down the front line, though, and it lets him get a free one. Still, though, liability able to kind of blaze that trail, and now it's Raccoon starting to dive into the smoke. A little awkward, a little slow, though, still. And Dynamo are on the way back, but they still have those guns to carry through. They'll keep 2 or 3 as they exit the second round.
Man, it wasn't an insane investment either. You only had one or two players buying up on the actual rifles. Outlaws, SMGs in there, not bad. Well, we are going to do the same that we did in the first half. Dynamo got to listen in. We're listening on liability.
Are you lurking here, Wiggle?
Yeah, you want to double lurk C with me?
Yeah, I'll come with you. I'm just gonna walk from B here.
Let's go. Fucking win this. 8 all 2. Go.
Cover going out.
Alright, walls down. One
more. This is one way to go down.
Don't go. Don't walk through this. He's close. Two more. We go A together. Can we go together? Here, one more. Can't fight. He's split. TP side. Keep it open door. Keep it open door. Keep it side. Keep it on side. Yeah, keep it on side. I'm going side, guys. I'm going side. Come with me. We have it. We can have it. Drop side. Backside.
Kill tree with me, Wiggle. Kill tree.
Could be tree drop. Clear tree. I have drop. Play smart, guys. Holding a stair. Care drop now, okay? You want a high-low drop with me?
Yeah, I'm holding it.
We don't even need to. I'm holding it. Let's do it. There's nice. Nice shadows. Holding drop. Let shadows fight though. Yeah, left hand side. Nice! Come on, bro!
They can't hold you!
Gosh, bro, you know what I'm saying? Come on, bro. Let's win. Come on, bro. Let's go.
Placing alarm bot.
We're win traders, bro. What do you expect? Let's win, bro.
Who died?
Could be hopping, bro. No one, bro.
Wiggle, do you want to double lurk C this time?
Yeah. Let's win, bro.
Where did I put my flash so like just to the one way?
What do you
just as low or?
I agree. I need to show some presence C. Do it. Yeah. I'm gonna wall A then.
I think you don't put wall up, Brendan.
E? Okay.
Yeah, so I can scan close.
Run back. I'm not. Close.
They broke eye off.
Wait, let's double swing through the right. Ready?
No.
3, 2, 1. We have C control. Yeah, we have mount control.
Revealing area.
Fighting me, bro. Get the
Get my orb. Fighting through A.
Nice.
We group up now?
Let's go back A. No. They just smoked me.
Let's
come see then.
Yeah, we need to build this wall.
Well, a decent round from Liability and Co. Nothing really to complain about there. Really good management of just the default space before they ended up taking the site itself. Yeah, not really many notes.
Yeah, no, it really just had to come down to the garage push. Once Dynamo Esports loses out on that first contact, yes, they had a second one there, but Liability even felt it. It was just going to be a bit of a sweep without a crossfire on that site, without too much of a focus on garage. Liability and Co., they have been very swarmy, basically, when it comes to their attack setup. So if there's going to be one person swinging, expect 2 more right behind them. Liability, love the buddy system, but this round is the big one here from Dynamo in terms of the guns. Leone takes in a little bit of a contact. Raccoon is going to be the only man standing here on A for now. Take flight. Liability and Co. They were thinking about that A side. They are spreading out a little bit thin here, but nobody from Dynamo has that control of the mid side. They are going to have a little bit of that freedom. They can stretch their legs a little bit. But oh my goodness, Liability. I just want to see if there's really a uniform idea here, because they might just be walking into the jaws of the beast. 3 players here for Dynamo, 4 players here for Dynamo here on A.
Everybody's here. Caducer the first to poke out, and Stun is going to confirm it. That's 1 shot guaranteed. Liability and Co. haven't revealed themselves just yet, but the smoke stood up. And also the KJ lurk does reveal a lot of default information, but Stunna held in the back of the block, blinded, gets 2, and then Raccoon is still able to hold Sewer with the judge and gets 2 more as well. How in God's name was that valuable? That is unbelievable.
Gosh, and Liability and Co. They even had maybe a bit of a split second to look into the mirror real quick and be like, hey, maybe this A side is a bit too difficult, but yeah, that first man that ended up peeking out, he ended up getting flashed. You know, I can almost say that like Caducer did not have an actual like full view on the players that were shooting at him into sight, because If that call out does come in, 3 players on
10
site,
seconds left.
no kill coming out from Caducer either, no trade potential coming in, no player coming out from short. It's just, liability was getting boxed over in long. Dynamo, that was fairly cut and dry at the end of the day.
He also didn't confirm truth at all, and he was able to roam freely across the entirety of the C side of the map. He got so much cleared so early on in that round, too, and no alert coverage was there for him. You had just Evo kind of roaming around courtyard, making sure he wasn't flanking instead.
And he has
a little bit disappointing.
And it is just the KJ, right? Of course, if he is roaming the mid side, he can have the utility over.
Of course, yeah. No, he's able to set up that shop so that rotations are so much harder as well. But the fact is, if Truth is already clearing so much, everybody's already rotating. I mean, Dynamo is so keyed into that.
Yep. And now, a bit of a pause. And now, a bit of a pause, mate. Welcome to the pause. You think we'd get hired more if we spoke in different accents? Not British accents.
I think Australian is like pulled as the most like attractive.
Hello, mate.
I think it's like an Australian woman is like the most attractive English-speaking voice, like to the
take
human
off
ear.
Your clothes.
Yeah, I sound a little bit feminine and a little bit
know if that's
Australian. I'm not gonna try.
No,
I'm not gonna go for it.
No, there's no need.
There's no need.
No, I'm just stuck with it now.
Shout out to everybody in the venue.
Shout outs.
So many people still playing, a lot of people spectating, and so many more to come as well. Liability and Co in particular, so many people popped out for them. We got some fam, we got some friends. It's so awesome to see people show some love for the people on this stage. Make sure you guys are showing some love to the Funhaver family as well. We got merch in the station in the corner of the venue. If you're here as well, grab a hoodie, grab a shirt. They feel great, they look great, you look great, you'll feel great. The game's back too, so I'm feeling good too.
Yay, we love video gaming. That makes me feel good. I agree.
Gaming makes me feel good.
Make that a song.
You should make that a hook to a song.
That was a. I was gonna say the one word for like a song that like, hey, that's a little. It's a little. It starts with a D, ends with a Y. Like Diddy Kong. But yeah. Like, but you can't.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, exactly. You just can't. Sorry. But anyways, Liability and Co. They do end up poking and prodding through that mid side, and Dynamo just chews a little bit too much.
Yeah.
Why'd you leave me standing there when I said that?
Chopping off the bit. I didn't leave you anywhere.
Don't
What are you
do that to
talking
me.
about? I didn't leave you anywhere. You left. You ran out of gas and you didn't walk anywhere. Oh, Raccoon. He doesn't have a judge, so he's.
Raccoon didn't see him. Raccoon didn't see him. Leone, look behind
There's
you.
no. Oh, come on now. Yeah, make a meal out of it. Love to see it. Leone's down. It's a 4v4. Never mind. Ian and Caducer just go on and exec another insane recon from Raccoon, but he's not able to connect on top of it. And Truth is on the other side of the map again, except everybody else is dead.
Oh no.
Spike planted.
Damage is there at least on one of these players. He does have a cam to try to pop out. He gets one kill and he could get the information on the rest. So it's not exactly lost here for Truth, and he is trying it. T-Man there for the trade. He has full HP to try to bait out the half HP to Evo. Caducer from the back can lay in one more bullet just to try to finish things off. Truth goes for that first burst, does not kind of count in the swing, count in any sort of response after that other than potentially under heaven. But that is another round of Valorant Might.
Yes, another round of Valorant Might. Oh, we're playing right here in the Funhaver invitation. No.
Let's see what I'm
hard to get out of it, bro.
Accents.
That was one of the most impressive execs so far from Liability and Co. Easily. Caducer very tuned in to the harmony of the round streak that they got earlier on the defense. I love seeing the confidence. That's been playing such a big role for this team. It's not just walking in, but running in and using stuff and shooting. They're not. Look.
No, that's absolutely right. That is how you win the video game. So, you know what? They are doing that. I agree. Scotty, my goodness gracious. Scotty just got the opportunity of a lifetime to connect the dots, but he was only able to get one. There's still one more player in the back, but there goes the Rolling Thunder. There goes an opportunity against the Cypher, and they are able to catch him. Nobody else comes in towards the back of sight. Leone actually TPing into the middle of that smoke. That was scary. But double retake here from the defenders over and long, but it's just not going to happen. Liability and Co. The response immediately to spread back into long in a buddy system too, fantastic.
Really recognizing that truth wrap as well, taking the two mandibles of that A and C site and just splitting the head of Dynamo wide open. That was perfect execution to get rid of the big threat, that overarching ubiquity that the Cypher presents, while still alleviating yourself of the rest of the threats that are going to be shuffling in. Again, timing has played such a role for liability, and Co. It helped them so much in preparation for the executions that they almost won in the first place, and it's helping them so much now when they prepare themselves for the ultimate dump onto a site, which, you know, still a work in progress. We're still getting there, 2 rounds down.
Now, this next round's really going to be a bit of a litmus test because we have not seen the best of looks in terms of the adaptation from liability. If they do get halted in one area, it is more or less the same dynamic that we ended up seeing in that first half from Dynamo, where yes, that first attempt goes wrong, 1 or 2 players go down, and they're still kind of reattempting. There is a bit more of a look to the adaptation. There is a little bit more of that intuition individually to try to make a play, but still, liability and Co. They're going for this first attempt. Let's see if it actually succeeds for them. It doesn't, at least in the hands of Caducer, but this was accounted for. They have a split going back over towards A, and they're still looking for at least any pixels to aim at. Not a single person has peeked into them. It's just a Hunter's Fury taking away the planter.
Seems like Dynamo is still playing very preventative, despite the fact that you have so many players that have been willing to like be shooters. They've taken far less of a center stage for the scrap fights now that the game has actually really developed. Off step out from Stunna into the 3-stack. That's an expensive start for Dynamo, but still a 4v4. And now Raccoon gonna once again step up to the sewer and take his shot, see if he gets anything out of it. Not frugal with this utility to make sure that the stack can be confirmed, and he will confirm it, so Dynamo can breathe a little easier on the remaining sites. Good thing, too, no one's on any of them.
This is all gonna have to come down to Leone. Back over, not Leone, excuse me, gonna come down to the Omen over in heaven. It's gonna be the Hunter's Fury to try to sweep him away. There goes the trap, but doesn't catch anyone. There goes Raccoon.
30 seconds left.
Able to get himself over into Omen heaven, and he gets flashed. Beautiful flash, but are you kidding me? Shock Dart, full flash, he's still alive. Liability still has 2 remaining. Drew's looking for one of them, but we're back down to a 2-on-2. This is now a huge opportunity for Ian. Ian with barely any HP. Oh my goodness! Ian! 3 kills, and a gust of wind could have taken him down.
Unbelievable micro adjustment on the kick out on top of all that execution. So much chaos happening on that site in the moment, but the collapse was still there all along.
And what a start from him too. Cracks open the long area and just finishes off. No HP, 3 frags in. All on his back. We still have yet another incredibly huge round from Dynamo. They spent so much money going into that last round. They only have 1 player facing off the bulk of liability. Raccoon needing to back out immediately. Not a huge investment from this team. So if anything, they have to make a gut call. They are gonna gut call 3 players back over towards A.
Once again, Raccoon getting way too close for comfort, but Leone only a couple pot shots gonna deal that chip. We're starting to chirp at each other with these bullets.
The control over towards the mid side. Eagle's looking for something, but he might get flanked.
He's gotten so much greedier lately with these lurks, and it's looking like it's gonna generate some value here. No turnaround yet again. No, Scotty!
No way. But that's only the one. C site basically at this point is clear. Scotty, not here to try to hold things down. He's not gonna have any time to come back in to try to take down Caducer. So this is still one of the better scenarios here for liability and Co. There's no ultimates here for Dynamo to really clamp down onto liability. This is gonna have to be raw. But liability.
Spike planted.
I'm trying to see these post positions here. They are extended so far out into the choke points. They have a man in garage, man out in long. These one-on-ones are so important, and that first one-on-one goes correctly. But there goes the ultimate, not going right. Stunna doing the same. Has his own knives out. The kills are coming in, cascading for Dynamo. Ian has to do it again. Ian! 2 rounds in a row with an ace! Are you kidding me?
That's just unbelievable. To line up like that consecutively for your team as that last player remaining. In such different circumstances as well.
He had to be a hero both times.
And to do it on both sides of the round both times too. He started with shuffling that board in the previous round, and then he comes into clutch with the kills, and then he does it all over again with the positioning in this round, and then does it again with the kills at the end. Unbelievable bookending coming from Ian that gets him to 23 bomb, 20 rounds deep, and we're tied all up.
10-10. Dynamo Esports multiple times this game looked like they had firm control, but the script is flipping. Raccoon trying to run away in, not gonna be able to catch him, but here comes the clamp. Kadooster gets taken down by Raccoon, and now the stack in the back line is going to be there for Dynamo. 3 players here on A, but the first shot doesn't go right for Raccoon, but Raccoon, he was really just a bait. Everyone else with a full HP has to do something, but it just does not work. E-Man coming in, doesn't get another frag. It's starting to break down your reliability as Blank and Scotty continue to frag. One-on-one. Blank, full HP. Evo basically the same. Evo looking for a pixel. This is to break a lead for either one of these teams, and it's going to be Dynamo to finally close out a round.
Giving Blank the ultimate too, again, massively influential to restabilize the team that was just teeter-tottering for so long. LCO continuing to keep it close, but this time they try to get a little too aggressive on top of the things that they find, looking for Raccoon on top of that one Hunter's Fury proc, and Kadooster, he almost wins that foot race to nab the first blood, but instead, the tip of the spear completely goes flat, and nothing else is behind it. LCO, they just kind of timidly walk in at that point. Again, so one and done are some of these rounds, but again, the nature of an environment like this where you're coming in with such minimal game plans, especially for matches this early on in the tournament, despite the fact that it's sudden death.
And just so much pressure onto these young guns too. Evo, playing in high school tournaments just last year, playing here on LAN, had a huge one-on-one to try to push his team to such an advantageous situation. Dynamo would have had nothing. They would have just had nothing. Dynamo would have been real thin on that economy, but as we focus up here on this little bit of a different approach, Kadooster is gonna maintain that mid approach, or maintain that mid control. Evo gonna do the exact same, back up towards Garage, but it's just hands-off control here. It's really empty pressure coming in from liability, just making sure that nobody can cross a certain threshold, but even then, the one-on-one over in mid from the Jet does not go right. Evo just trying to be a nuisance, trying to maybe distract for some time, trying to pull a rotation, try to hold these positions from these players in C and B. That's exactly what he's done. One piece of utility taken down by one man has allowed for 3 players to go freely into a site. Beautiful from Evo. Dynamo.
30
they
seconds
have
left.
all the pieces that they need right now for a retake.
Raccoon up on high with this judge, waiting for the setup. Spike taken away. Like you said, all the tools they could ask for to take this back. Should be 11-11, easy peasy. But who goes in first? Liability had trouble asking that too. Evo finally making that creep work for 2. At least that's dealt with, and Raccoon making himself known at the perfect time with the drop down on the judge. Whoa. And it's the perfect way to kite in the rest of Dynamo. Again, it's all about the timing, and it gets the job done to tie us back up. Make a wish up, mine.
It is over.
Oh no, 12-10, my bad.
No, it is.
Game point for Dynamo, that's crazy.
Yeah, no.
Match point.
Incredible finish. I mean, again, Raccoon has just been a nuisance. He has been as shifty as it gets, really. He's just been holding pivotal positions for this team. If he is able to get kills, that's a major plus, because just his movement, just his positioning alone is already enough to give off that pressure for Liability and co. Dynamo, they have the pieces finally clicking for them. Raccoon with 19 frags, improving a whole lot just in the last 6 rounds alone. But this is all Liability now. This has to be all Liability if overtime is on the menu. Here comes a bit of early utility back over towards A mid. It's Hunter's Fury. There you go. There you go. The ISO comes in with a cage, and there goes the Hunter's Fury.
Stable, rigid. But again, where to springboard from? It was Kadooster that was stuck in this cubby on the B door last time. Now it's Evo. And with even worse guns. You have a Rolling Thunder to escort your way in, as LCO sets up mainly on that A lane, but it seems like they're trying to chip away at this link hold. Scotty seems like an appetizing start, but the damage trade is once again gonna go Dynamo's way. You gotta re-up. Liability, they'll completely ditch A.
And it's a read here coming in from Dynamo too. They're stacking 3 on A.
Maybe they've read that read. Again, Evo gonna finally make some headway here on the lurk.
I mean, just throwing caution into the wind at this point. Liability is choosing a site and going for it.
There we go, and the Rolling Thunder to guarantee all of that coverage. Trap wires be damned. We're gonna take the site, whether you like it or not. And they are in. Worst guns, you gotta make some space, and it's Evo once again at the front of it all here in the garage.
Evo wants a frag. Evo wants a frag so you can get that lockdown immediately. If they want it for the next round, they can have it. There goes Evo. Maybe looking for it, but they don't need it at this point. 2-on-2. Evo's finally gonna pull it off. He has a person right next to him. He has the TP, but this is gonna be a major swing. Both players are down so low in HP. Evo gets a frag, but that lockdown's gonna go in. Blank is gonna waste time. This is gonna come down all the way down to the wire. Evo, yet another gust of wind can take him down. Blank knows it, just needs a body shot! And he got it. Liability and Co. try as they may. Dynamo Esports, this team who has been playing together quite a bit longer than this Liability and Co. team who have only met up this week. Dynamo keep it together.
On Liability and Co.'s map for that matter, great recoveries from LCO the whole way through, and again, great rhythm more than anything else. Their macro was really undeniable, and I can't wait to see that coming into map 2, but Dynamo had better shooters, and at the end of the day, they were able to catch them off guard just a little bit more often. Those corners held by Blank and Raccoon in particular were absolutely gorgeous, and I think Truth's lurking was also a little bit more effective.
Absolutely, and at least in terms of the improvements coming in from the other side, coming in from Liability, or at least some of the differences between the first half and the second half. Over in that first half, you did see maybe a little bit more of that individuality. You did see 2-3 players willing to push together. They have that ability to do so on the defensive side. On the attacking side, that was the expectations. The 1v1s had to come in very strong for them in the early round, and they just weren't confident for it. Ian was able to get some wind in his sails, but just at the end of the day, the interactions in the early round that needed to go right, so just so they could have all 5 players for a push, all 5 players for a post plant, just didn't happen.
A real shame, but at the end of the day, this is not the end of the series. We've seen Liability and Co. stack it up. We'll see if they can knock it down when we come back on Icebox.
Last player standing. One enemy remaining. Spike planted. Yikes. One enemy remaining.
My ult's ready. Night, night. Nailed.
Spike down. C. One enemy remaining.
My ult is ready.
One enemy remaining.
It happened so quickly.
One enemy remaining. One enemy remaining.
To me, oh death, come close my eyes, whoa, I know, I'm more fool than wise, she said to me, oh death, it's way too wet on your cheeks to be nothing, but what? To me, oh death, come close my eyes, whoa, I know, I'm more fool than wise, she said to me, oh death, it's way too wet on your cheeks to be nothing, but what does she know, really what does she know? Keep your pity to She said to me,
sometimes I shouldn't text you. You act just like my ex do. You know I try my best to catch you. You wanna be so perfect, so it's silicone. For the last 2 years I've been alone. For my last few pics, hope you fucking chose. Wanna bring your sanity somehow. I wanna slam my head against the wall till I cannot feel at all. She doesn't really like me, she likes alcohol. Where's my idols fall? I might just end it all. I wanna slam my head against the wall till I cannot feel at all. She doesn't really like me, she likes alcohol. Where's my idols fall? I might just end it all. Serotonin, I need you bad. You know it, I know you mad. I'm glowing, I know you mad. I know you mad. Sometimes I shouldn't text you. You act just like my ex do. You know I try my best to catch you. And he has a wife, but he loves his mistress. Blink twice and you just miss it. So much headache, it's vindictive. I'm worthless. I wanna slam my head against the wall till I can't feel at all. She doesn't really like me, she likes alcohol. Where's my idols fall? I might just end it all. I wanna slam my head against the wall till I cannot feel at all. She doesn't really like me, she likes alcohol. Where's my idols fall? I might just end it all.
Yeah. 真夜中のもしもしどういう意味わかんないそれでも電話を取った Yeah いつも恋人ふりをして今夜遊びが好きだけ分かってるのに相手をした Yeah 君に魅了された今回が最後だって何度も言ったYou turn me on like a light switch 君が近づいてきた瞬間もう抵抗したくない欲望が押されたい You turn me on like a light switch 君が近づいてきた瞬間僕を手のひらの上で踊らされるよ baby 君に振り回されるのがとても嫌だけど姿を見ると怒れないよ No いつも恋人ふりをして今夜遊びが好きだけ分かってるのに相手をしたい Yeah 君に魅了された今回が最後だって何度も言ったのに You turn me on like a light switch 君が近づいてきた瞬間もう抵抗したくない欲望が押されたい You turn me on like a light switch 君が近づいてきた瞬間僕を手のひらの上で踊らされるよ baby Come on come on come on come on come on 全てを見せてまたまたまたまたまたまた I'll see you girl Come on come on come on come on come on 全てを見せてまたまたまたまたまた I'll see you On like a light switch 君が近づいてきた瞬間もう抵抗したくない欲望が押された
All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is Fun Havers Zero In live from Philadelphia, PA. My name is Upmine, joined here once again by Tenric. We had an incredible first map here of playoffs. Playoffs has been undergoing throughout this entire venue. 16 teams is currently playing their first series of playoffs, and here on stage, things could not have been hotter.
Oh, yeah. Well, what an insane way to start off the day. Seeing, Liability and Co. taking on Dynamo, going to a 23-round showdown on Haven. Both sides having some really solid streaks, really great reads. But at the end of the day, it was Dynamo that had the better shooters by a hair and just a little more game sense at the end of the day. They managed to get the drop on their opponents once or twice.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, that early start did kind of, it just cut things down. It ended up being, what, 6-1 start immediately. But the response from Liability and Co., that was basically what we were looking for. This team is a team that they can bounce back metaphorically from anything mentally, because they just do not have the same stakes going into this game as potentially a full 5 team like Dynamo, who have expectations outside of just the LAN, outside of the LAN servers. They have expectations online, they have expectations as an organization. But as that first half kind of whittled down, as we were able to kind of absorb those results, that second half, it was more or less the same story. Again, Dynamo, you didn't see too much panic from them on that defensive side. Individually, they were showing up very consistently. The important 1v1s were getting won out by Dynamo. But again, it's that pressure that gets lifted off of this team, like Liability, that, again, did bring back the game a couple of times. Ian doing the business. 2 aces in a row in the second half from Ian. But without those 2 results, Dynamo, they were looking really confident in that second half.
Absolutely. Yeah, Dynamo able to again, just really pinch off a lot of the importance that the comp that LCO brought in as well. T-Man played a great activator as long as he was alive, but Dynamo were able to fell him pretty quickly on in a lot of executions, so they weren't really able to utilize him to the fullest potential. Yeah. Caducer in particular played a really consistent spear tip as long as LCO was able to get away with the standard way you do things. But again, they started finding him in these cubbies and corners when he was posted up a little far ahead, and then they cut that leash off, get rid of that dog, and now you got a 4-man stack that's still 10 meters away.
It just hurts because Caducer, he had an incredible first half. He had he had at least double-digit frags coming out of that first half, and in the second half, being the only spear for this team, being the only really mobile agent in this pool. They needed so much more out of that first interaction, and that's what I'm saying. Dynamo, they were able to just take advantage of that classic uno v uno. They were able to just break away that even strength, have the 5v4, have the 5v3 for the rest of the rounds. It is kind of a cut and dry story at the end of the day, but still Liability, they have a nice little map coming up for them in the form of Icebox.
That's true, yeah. It's right back to business here for map 2, and we'll be heading to what is Dynamo's pick, that being Icebox. And certainly one that they've performed quite well in so far through this tournament. I believe that they are 2-0 coming out of the group stage on that map in particular. It looks like it's been their consistent choice throughout this tournament. And from the way that they play, it's kind of easy to see why. It seems like they really want to segment their fights and then fully take a site. And Icebox is kind of perfect for that.
Yeah, I mean, run me through it, because I wasn't actually able to watch Dynamo at all during Icebox or any of their Icebox picks. When it comes to that attack side, when it comes to, again, that readjustment that we were talking about, the lack of their on Haven, are they more, I guess, predisposed for it? Because Icebox is such a wide map. It does take a lot longer for you to get those rotations in. And, I mean, at the end of the day, Dynamo, whenever they did have that first line cut off, they didn't stop.
That's so true, yeah. It wasn't exactly like Dynamo, shifted their play style too heavily whenever they lost a member along the way. They kind of just kept on trucking. And again, on Icebox, you're able to kind of play into that if you want to. You're able to go on that committal roll and sort of just snake your way through the lane until you end up bulldozing through whatever's in your way, and then you get the rest of the job done from there. I'm not sure if Dynamo's going to want to do that every time. I'm not sure what their composition is going to end up being coming into this, because we know we went with the ISO on Haven previously. So I'm curious to see what Blank goes for, and perhaps a Viper on top of an Omen. I'd love to see that, because I think that Scotty's been playing a terrific Omen here on Icebox lately, and to see the screen as well help facilitate those rotations could help them be a lot more of a chameleonic team.
Yeah, and at least again, when it comes to liability, when it comes to those early interactions, I'm going to be very excited to see Caduster once again, because he was getting more and more aggressive in that first half. He was getting more and more aggressive, period, with the op. His op play in the second half just was not there. Haven just is not that type of map for that attack opping play. It might come out a little bit more here on Icebox, but what really is going to matter again is the fact that Caduster, in the positions that are very important on Icebox, he was succeeding very well back over on Haven. That's at least one man to stand on. But again, there's going to be a couple of other factors. T-Man, he's going to have potentially a little bit more time for him to react. Breach utility, you do have to stay behind line of sight a whole lot more. And not only that, on Icebox, you do have a lot more of cover as a defender. You have a little bit more of a flowchart as a defender. You can basically rotate out of sight by the time anybody gets a good pick on you, unless you're stuck over on yellow or anything like that. But at the end of the day, you are going to have a bit more of a stand from the players of liability, or at least if they are maintaining the same rules as before. But again, just has to be a little bit more of a focus on those classic Western duels. Caduster has to come up big.
Yeah, for sure. No, I couldn't agree with you more there. It's going to come down to those standoffs more than anything else, because like you said, this map's gigantic and these players are so close in every other caliber. You know, shoot or shoot. That's how this is going to go down.
Correct.
And with Dynamo again coming into this after having some crazy plays, I'm really curious how Liability Co, if they're going to shift their individual play style at all. Like you said, we saw Caduster able to make so much space, so much headway earlier on into rounds. I'm curious if, like we saw on the previous map, if we're going to see him try to do that, try to take that space to facilitate the initiators to get a lot of the kills, because we've seen him do that before. We've seen this team do that before with Caduster kind of just jumping forward and really toying with the perception of the defending team before all that activation really comes in.
Yeah, and that's more or less what I do want to see stifled is, yes, potentially a little bit of that aggression. I don't exactly know where the combinations are going to come out, because again, back on Haven, it was only that one spear. So at least from our perspective, realistically speaking, there's really only one person actually willing to be on that front side and not have an important position in terms of utility. But in that second, or in that different situation with the halves flipping, we should be getting a Liability in Co that again should be able to scale up, because they did rely on that a whole lot. Yes, they weren't exactly avoiding that first interaction too much, but on Icebox, it's almost inevitable that you have to use your smokes to be able to scale up, and that's where they could finally get that impact from Caduster on that attack half. Just get him as close as possible, get that burst out. He can have a buddy system right behind him just to try to get the trade and avoid those 5v4 finishes that we kept seeing.
100%, yeah, clear after clear, and again, the trade shuffle needs to go their way more often than not. We saw Dynamo start to ladder those kills once they got away with one, and all too often, LCO fell for that, and they lost a lot of fights because of it. I'd love to see it be a little less scrappy from the Pug stack. I know that's a tough ask for sure.
But they were able to keep it
there was some really good structure.
But there's a reason why in that second half, we ended up seeing that eco reset so quickly, right? Because every round that this team was kind of getting close, you were seeing, 3 kills, 4 kills, plenty of rebuys coming in from Dynamo. So yeah, at the end of the day, Liability, they still have the shooters that they need. It's just one more piece at the very beginning. It has to be a strong start. And ladies and gentlemen, if I'm not mistaken, we should have agents very soon. Actually, you were right about the Viper, by the way. We did see a Viper pick, I think, out of one of these players. It was going to be the closest player on your right here. What do you think his name is? Just guess. What player is he?
What, right in front?
Yeah.
That's Scotty.
Oh, you just know.
Yeah.
Yeah, good for you. Good for you. I just know.
Yeah. No,
shake that man's hand. Let me shake that man's hand.
I would love to see Scotty go with that Viper, but we'll have full confirmation, I think now.
Right now.
I believe now, yes.
Yippee.
It is a Viper. Yay! Triple controller Dynamo. Oh, I love it. Blank on the clove instead of the ISO. And then Scotty is on the Viper and Stunna on the active Omen as that duel is shifting over. I really love this, guys.
This is, again, Dynamo. We were talking about the ability to be able to scale up on this map so much, and they have so much cover for it. The remote smokes coming out from both Omen and Clove, the rechargeable smokes in terms of Viper. The cover is going to be there. They do have a little bit of recon, a little bit of of recon. Not an incredible amount, but it is going to be there. Killjoy, of course, is very important on this map. When you go over towards the other side in terms of liability, this is a little bit more what you expect from this team. Evo is going to be that perma KJ. Leone coming in on the smoke. Need to see this man a little bit more active. His TPs were just a little bit off in that last map. Gonna have to see his approaches to try to help out the Jet a little bit more, be sharp. Because of how different this map is in terms of elevation, the TPs are a little bit more difficult to connect. Leone has to capitalize. We are getting into map number 2 already. We saw an interaction back over towards the mid side, but no bite. Blank going for something, but the scale is already there for these attackers. No noise being made over on A, and they're basically on the doorstep.
Yeah, the cut's already been made. Raccoon gonna make the call to back out. Not gonna want to take this massive fight to start things out. LCO just setting up shop for the standard pistol take. Caduster gonna go ahead and make sure screens is nice and cleared up.
Spike planted.
Liability and Co do all the extra homework they need. Caduster will fall as he fades away. Stunna easy entrance, and Raccoon's gonna try and take advantage early on. The corner on the screens is there, and Liability and Co actually walk up into it. And Ian from the back line is able to fully recover that fight. With Evo taking the trade back on the cross, it's now a 2v1 for Liability and Co against a very, very hurt Blank. And that alarm bot finally proccing to confirm a 3rd kill for Ian. That double acer is already popping off in round 1.
No, incredible. Ian off to a great start, but had to be a little bit of a roam into that back site. Again, that's just what you have to expect out of Icebox. Anybody can start fragging in the back of that site because of how close things are. The util is going to have a bit of an approach, or a bit of an impact on things, but on the pistol, anybody fragging out, and they did that job just by scaling right into the doorstep of site. Ian takes care of his chances. We finally have a bit of a lead here for Liability.
Yeah, really great start for them for sure. Fantastic early recovery here on the pistol. And we'll see them try to convert it. Even still, the exec looked a little compressed. Caduster, unfortunately, not really able to trailblaze much farther on the start of that. Got stopped really early, and it looks like Dynamo, they want to go for these early interrupters again. Blank, high vantage on this anti, as Caduster sets up on the belt with this outlaw, and we'll grab that first kill onto Blank.
So again, with Icebox being as tight of a map, again, we are talking about the scale opportunities here for the attackers, but it is the off angles that the defenders can clamp down to a 1 and done, a 2 and done, and just let the rest of their team fight traditionally in the back of that A site. That just puts so much pressure on this front side, on this first corner. It's gonna have to come down to Raccoon. Raccoon with the right click gets the 1, but T-Man is there to swoop up 2 more. 1 man in the back line only has himself a classic. Scotty, he can drop this wall, try to go for a bit of a 50-50. Nobody's going to be able to find him for a while. Just chipping down the eco, if anything, and that's exactly what happens. T-Man was already low. Headshot from Scotty is there. This is already extra credit coming in from Dynamo. Hold on a minute, Leone going for the headshot specifically versus a Scotty that might not even have armor. A 1-on-3 here from Truth. And again, the only objective here is going to be to take away the guns, to take away the economy. If you're able to win the round, that's a bonus.
But yeah, here's that controller util really starting to stick their nose into Liability's business. Truth having that extra smoke from the Clove to help him out at least a little bit farther. We're seeing echoes of what the real power this comp brings to the table can do as we go into this bonus round, which we will get to hear in on for this attacking squad.
Wait, what if I also TP and then Cad can like dash away? They're not gonna hear the TP.
That's fine, yeah. Sure.
Cad, you're like full bait here. You can dash away.
KJ, go quiet A, I'm gonna drone B. Yeah. I'll dart mid and go drone B, okay? I'm just running. I'm no dash. I'm just running. And I'm real grab.
Start A.
Boiler, Jet.
I'm tagged.
We should go back for dive.
I got tagged. They have no drone.
Wait, KJ should just went down B.
Wait, here's a judge. You got a judge.
Bottom mid, under 2.
I want to grab that gun.
Not there anymore.
One way for that. I'm still getting out of it. You don't have to worry. It was
He's a shotgun. Yeah. Right. Silva's a judge.
I can dark close.
Yo, it was Viper B site. Viper B site.
140 jet.
Where? Raptor.
Yeah,
my dark close off the car. There's one right here. He's back that though. Left side. Ready to fight this guy. 3, 2, 1. Close play. Left side, left side.
Last player standing. Spike down A.
Sova.
No more Sova.
Damage is good.
30 seconds left.
Viper's the B player.
Where did he die from?
Why is he giving him a kill?
He was probably top screen.
Oh, they get some snaps for that. They get some snaps from that. For sure. For sure. What was that?
A win is a win.
A win is a win is a win. A win is a win.
I mean, the fact that they called out Raccoon on the judge like 10 minutes before they accepted, they still lose 3 to the judge. It just speaks to the power of Raccoon. He is all-knowing, and now he's got that Hunter's Fury too.
Incredible work. But again, that did have to come down to a little bit of the layering coming in there from Dynamo Esports. Liability and coaches did not have the guns to be able to fight back too much. That first interaction from Blank, from Clove, is already going to be more than enough for the judge to pick away at the weak opponents. But again, big round coming up. It is Liability and Co. picking and prodding the same way that they did in the last round. Not exactly the same way, but the same attention.
Careful.
Player over towards the mid side, waiting for an approach. Nobody on top of tin right now, and there's really nobody from Dynamo even covering that area. Everyone is just concentrating themselves back towards site.
Shadows traveling.
They really look lined up for this A take. They have a really good feeling about it. And why wouldn't you until this alarm bot gets procced? Dynamo feels so capable of retaking the B site with the triple controller smoke. The only right way for this attack feels like A site. 45 seconds as this clock ticks away. Evo is in though and has some help. Takes some pot shots through the screen, and now Liability trying to soft exec on the A, but Raccoon is still holding a judge and is still right in front of him. Gets away with one, but finally dealt with the paranoia. Stunna on the high ground, deals with the follow-up too.
One enemy remaining.
And there is no more help now on this A site.
Such a quick readjustment coming in from Stunna too, in the back line immediately getting up into the top of Tin Can. A great vantage point, but again, it just sucks that that the shotgun is getting so much mileage. Sucks for the Liability and Co. fans.
10 seconds left.
Fans, my goodness, what a stronghold from the Sova. But again, Liability and Co. just doesn't seem to have the right skill combo right now. Just does not seem to have the right approach towards that early A choke point. T-Man, that's all that you really need to do there. Beautiful from T-Man. That's going to collect a little bit of damage onto the eco of the other team, but that was a major gun round for them.
Really unfortunate thing with the triple controller composition rather is how many flashes you miss out on by virtue of choosing to do that, of which Dynamo now has none for their take back. So it really does have to be like totally stalwart, totally clean, because I mean, the only thing we can really do is zone out B, which can be enough. But I mean, if they aren't able to hold on to A site, it feels like Liability and Co. is able to garner a lot of decent space with it pretty early on.
Here.
And they don't even have any I mean, all they have is the paranoia just to clear out that first door.
Enemy mark.
And with that Owl's round too, scaling opportunities are just
I'll back
gone.
you out, yeah.
You are going to have a really strong angle here from the Jet immediately. No idea where the Sova is going to be, even with the Owl drone. Oh, the shift back into potentially the position. That's Raccoon being Raccoon once again. Finally, Dooster goes right into his angle. Raccoon getting even closer, getting another kill. This is a farm from Raccoon so far. 5 rounds in. Raccoon left a frac just off the shotgun. And, all right. All right.
He's not going to have to buy another gun this game, man. He's just going to hang out here the entire time. And again, what do? If you don't throw out paranoia, what do you do? How do you clear this guy out consistently and safely without throwing a body at the problem or throwing a molly at things to force somebody else to swing out? It doesn't feel like you have to have too much of a defensive tapestry on this A side at the moment. It's a little cut and dry in my opinion. And again, Raccoon is probably compressing a lot of that for us with this stupid judge, but it feels a little stilted.
Yeah, just a little bit. Just a little bit. And it's so toxic too. It's
so, yeah.
And not just of course the fact that like, oh, it's a shotgun. Like, it is just so draining the way that Raccoon is just sweeping away any sort of attempt just with a shotgun. And it's more of a mental thing. It's more of a mental thing, and if anything, they will be able to have the right mixture of util to flush them out at some point. But at what point does that layering on that side get even worse? We've already seen so much success on the 2-man holds. We've seen a 3-man hold from that side, yeah, for sure, and that was more than successful. But it just feels as if there's not going to be a sense of urgency on that site, then that scaling that I was talking to you about before, that's foregone. Yeah. How do they even approach A at that point?
Right.
They need to maybe get a little bit more hustle into it or just try to get an early angle in, which Dynamo, they are giving to them a little bit. The Jet was a little bit out in the open, waiting for a long-range interaction. Liability didn't have the guns for it. But look at this. Speaking of urgency, Raccoon looking for potentially something scrappy. There is that setup. Man peeks out over towards the mid area. It's going to be 3 and A.
Again, so set up. You don't have to ask any questions. There's nothing they're changing. Very cut and dry.
But there you go. There's a change. Good user finally getting into the back lines, and that is Raccoon again.
What changed? What are you talking about?
Nothing changed at all. It's just the same movie. We've seen this movie time and time again. Raccoon does it again. 3K off the judge. My goodness.
So what was the plan there? Just forget about? I mean, Caduce, you're so reliant on Caducer getting the opening kill if he gets up to Heaven. If he finds someone in Heaven first, hey, let's hope somebody is either on Jenny or Bell right now. Otherwise, everyone else just walk into Raccoon, and then everyone else walks into Raccoon, and then he kills all of them. Again, so decisive, so trivial. And Dynamo's going to start having ultimates. I mean, they can stop putting 3 people on A for a bit if they want to. They can anti-condition, though. Again, with the triple smokes, it doesn't feel like Liability and Co are going to want to default anywhere else, at least to start. No, at least T-Man's going to hold mid a little bit longer with this Toxic Orb. We'll see if he can get anywhere with it.
It's just crazy. There hasn't been a single early round interaction over in the game.
No.
Just not a single one. 6 rounds later, not a single kill, not a single bullet being flown in that direction. And if anything, because of that, Dynamo, they're finally exploiting a little bit. But this might be finally the opportunity for a one-on-one that Liability might be looking for. But now, no sir, it does work out. Ian takes away Scotty. A bit of an opening now, and finally the first approach from Liability going into B main as a team. Stunna looking for a lineup, gonna be able to find one, but still has so much more to go. The knives coming out. There goes the Viper Spit! But T-Man, his Viper Spit gets wiped away immediately, but the knife to the head. You still have Caducer trying his hardest, but he goes down in a heap. 2 more players remaining here for Liability and Co, and the round technically is not over. But you have this is just a head scratcher for sure. Evo, lockdown ready. His teammates all going into B. That lockdown so strong in B main. Just not there to use it.
I got another reason to not go into B side. His name's Stunna. We wrapped A again now, and Evo's so far back.
Got to be kidding me.
Yeah, Blank at least able to trip him down. So Ian's just gotta try and hold it. Should be pretty, again, decided from here. We kind of run out of options. Hey, at least you got your spike down on A side, right?
Yippee. No, that cutoff, that cutoff back over in spawn, that could have been so much better.
Yeah.
Evo gets 1 kill there, and that's possible. But
you gotta talk about that knife that Stunna threw.
Unbelievable.
On its team. That was unbelievable. Just read the extension on the pit so well the second it came out. He's like, yeah, he's going yellow. Yeah, for sure. And then 1 taps him with it.
I mean, realistically, no angle. The other team gave him that angle.
Yeah, because you have nothing else to push in with.
Right, and the Viper Spit pushed out so far that somebody who could be over in mid, by the time that they come out of that cloud, they come out into the crossfire of mid. So if anything, you can just focus on yellow. Yeah. Focus on that right lane.
Really reducing how much work Dynamo has to do.
Right,
we're expediting.
It's been a cakewalk.
Well, we'll see how decisive this lockdown is in the eco. Liability and Co have, I mean, again, a lot to positionally work with on such a big map where Dynamo try to go for like overarching control. Finally starting a B-side default, but Stunna already gave away his operator, and he's not going to stop using it for any sort of reason. Caduster, how about you try a Blade Storm next round, buddy? You just can't match this kid.
No, you just can't. Stunna on top of the world right now. Same thing with his teammates. Blank even stepping up to the plane, picking up another 2 frags. Leone trying to crack away. Gets that headshot on the Blank. There's a little bit of clickage to be happening. but
Don't be
no.
spending too
We
many brain cells
must
figuring them
move on
out.
once again. That is yet another W
Overthinking
going
is
over towards the
just
side
as
of
bad as
Dynamo.
underthinking.
And again, it just could not look easier right now, or at least it just could not look more formulaic. It's all just coming down to the choke point, the one single choke point. Neither one of these players can break through in their own way together. It's just the first step, the first choke point on either A or B. That's already the stopping point.
It seems like the very first checkpoint that we're getting to at the moment is already the last one that we can hit. Blank, great adjustment on top of the heal up and stays up thanks to the backfire. Now that ultimate's available and he can use that to continue chasing down the LCO attacking squad who have backed back up into spawn, but they can use that to swiftly deal with Blank, and now we have a reset.
Mind you, this is still a similar situation. It was 6-1, mind you, but 6-2. This liability and code team, unless the mental game is starting to affect them a little bit, it's still very much that team that does not care.
Right here.
Simply put, does not care about the results, their recent results. Able to really keep themselves together and give that next round, that next interaction a fair shot. Liability. Do go back to the buddy system. Do go back to being disciplined, not throwing caution into the wind just yet. Still just playing smart Valorant. 40 seconds left on the round, and they are going towards the right position. It's only right because of the presence here from Dynamo.
30 seconds left.
It'll have to be a reset for the retake. There's no way Stun is going to hold this. He might back out to Heaven if he hears him quickly enough and try and go for a first blood, but...
He has the angle, though.
Yeah.
Just a one and done, make it a 4-on-2.
Set up shop quick if you're Evo, make sure you have everything to cover.
He's still waiting for a good pixel. Nobody got him, okay.
10 seconds
4-on-3, lockdown could be
Spike
going
planted.
deep into sight, and there it is. Time getting chunked out the clock, but there's still getting plenty of time for the defuse by the end of this. And Stun even takes down Ian, and not a single person from Dynamo is looking for more action. Here comes the retake. 2 players here from Liability, roaming the site. One is on top, waiting for that push in. 10 seconds left on the lockdown. One person is gonna have to back out. T-Man not able to fight with his life. 2 seconds left. He's not able to get literally anything before he ends up going up. But he finally picks up Scotty. Raccoon looking for Evo. Evo shifting into the right position. He doesn't spot his opponent. There goes the kill. There goes the second. He's gonna have the angle here on Truth. Truth going for the defuse. And Evo! Finally! A third big round coming up for Liability, and does it in the most Evo way possible.
A braggadocious sliver of time opens the round back up for Liability and Co to take the reins, and Evo to go swinging for the fences on that reset from on high. A beautiful approach that you somehow have time with. Dynamo controlled every extent of that round. They forced their hand with the lockdown after shutting down the previous one, and they had everything they needed to take back that site. But Raccoon holding on to that. Judge trying to go for the easy rundown, followed up by the easy triple shuffle that they tried to go for after the fact. I mean, Dynamo letting themselves get opened up that round, in my opinion. But you've lost ultimates now. You're a little too reset for my taste. Let's get some discipline back in there. Blank, close hold.
Oh my goodness!
From him! We're right back in business, y'all.
Okay, Dynamo. Just once again, yet another individual at the choke point. At the one choke point of either B or A. Just finishes it all off. 3 kills coming out from Blank. But still, is it all over? 1 KJ here over towards the B site. Liability and Co. They have been cut down thin, as they don't exactly have amazing utility, and still useful. Kadooster has himself the double smokes. Could be able to cover himself up just for the plant. This is interesting though, 40 seconds left.
Ahead.
Liability doesn't know it, but they had the exact right approach going into that B site and trying to go into the 2-on-1 against Truth.
Last player standing.
Instead,
30 seconds
with
left.
the mid angle, able to strike down on Evo. There goes yet another frag from Truth. Another quick and easy round.
Yeah, again, back to basics, really. So much of the flowchart of this feels very expectable.
Yeah.
Icebox is definitely a big reason for that. This map is just so well figured out, even when you switch up the comp this hard, this heavy. you still have a decent idea of what the team is going for and how they're going to carry it out. Just comes to the proper management of resources. And again, I think Dynamo is just doing that so beautifully. Blank, understanding how much of a how little of a liability he is in a round like that, seeing how much he can get out of a spot that he hasn't utilized before. Again, that's just good classic game sense coming from Dynamo.
Not gonna have to stick to the big guns once again. It's gonna have to be the big gun in the front. It's gonna have to be the judge. Stunna not able to get anything done, and Raccoon nothing. Stunna, incredible how this man is sticking to an outlaw, not getting himself abandoned. But there goes Scotty popping out from heaven, and that's actually a trade back from Evo. This is finally an advantage for liability on a post play. It's just so rare to see, and Leone strikes down onto Blank. Blank had no idea, had no time to get prepared for this. Dynamo Esports, finally the weakest look that we've seen from this team on a post plant. Still a little bit of a chance here. Gonna have one smoke in the hands of Stunna. Not great utility in the hands of KJ, the T-Man. Just looking for a quick burst onto Stunna. Stunna
One
just
enemy
one bullet
remaining.
onto his opponent, and this round is done. Truth.
No charges left.
Going down to Gun, Leone, and there goes the wrap up. All right, liability. All right, 7-4, no matter what we've seen in this half so far. The score at the end of this half is still going to be relatively competitive. It's still going to be something that, especially on the defensive side of Icebox, they've given themselves a base.
Yeah, continuously a solid, fight that they continue to put up against this Dynamo Esports squad, despite from what we've seen, a pretty stiff difference in the readiness that Dynamo has. This is their map pick after all, and they are seeded number 4 for a reason. It's not just off of those arbitrary Swiss standings. They had a tough start to this tournament, and they made it through with that 2-1 record, for that matter. High reputation to boast with, and Blank going to continue to be willing to be that first body, knowing how committal liability is going to be. These smokes are still going to be useful on this A site. Now Raccoon can walk into them with this judge again.
He's switching up with Stunna. Stunna on the front side now with the knives, able to pick out 2, but not actually able to get any damage. And now only has 1 knife left to try to get a headshot. Back down to the 4-on-4. The attention on the rest of the map is not exactly being exploited here for Dynamo Esports. Shout out to Anderson. We still have liability and co. Just stuck with their tails tucked between their legs. They are so scared of this A site. They have to take it slow, real slow. They don't have their burst opportunity anymore in the form of the jet.
Revealing area.
Still sticking to the game plan here. Again, why change? Why fix what hasn't really been clearly broken yet? Good Euro step from Evo. Makes it work.
30 seconds left.
Seriously? Nikola Jokic in action.
Stunna dry swinging this time with the operator. That's the most aggressive he's had to get so far. But again, that's because this A site is just so much better to facilitate with the composition that LCO has. Leone and Ian reopening screens up. In truth, now the last one standing. 10 seconds to go. Sandwiched, though, by the sight lines. And so, yeah, at the end of the day, really solid scoreline that LCO is able to come up with again.
I mean, there, at least in that last round, it did have to come down to that first interaction. It had to come down, first of all, great readjustment. Great job even getting it back down to the 4-on-4, collecting whatever quote-unquote advantage or whatever state of the round that you have, just resetting yourselves. That's all that you have to say. That's just not something that we'd seen liability be able to do successfully throughout that half. After that reset, though, that first pick being so pivotal, it was a little bit off from the Viper. He was going for a bit of a trap play, but the fact that there was no support system right behind him, there was no Raccoon in the lanes, there was no Jet covering up the lanes, that was the most uncontested A site that this team had seen throughout this half. Thankfully, it comes in at a beautiful, beautiful moment. Liability and co, they were looking way down on their luck. Way down. Now, 7-5 scoreline going into the defensive half. They've given themselves a chance. Now it's only one player to put in all of the damage potentially here for this first contact. But look at the rotation. Liability and co. They've already completely backed out away from A. They put so much pressure back over in mid, and that is allowed now for this quick shift back over in B. There's going to be 4 players here for the attacking side, and all 5 here for liability and co. Even with the pressure here, even with the presence, Spike is going to go down cleanly because of the triple controllers.
No extension out from Dynamo. They'll slow it down. if they can. Clove smokes up to deter first. T-Man with the opening frag. Now you can frontline a little more comfortably, especially with Stunna gone. And T-Man just continuing to walk it down. Blank finally makes himself known, but Dynamo Shuffle is a little too late. Not everybody reveals himself in time, and they just don't have enough space to play with. Doesn't matter how many smokes you throw down, you still got a spike to deal with, and Liability and Co. will take that lifeline into map 3 and fully pull the cord.
Yeah, so Dynamo Esports, again, it is that approach that we were talking about earlier with, thankfully, the triple controller. It is just it's a sick tactical look for this game. But at the end of the day, there needs to be that response after the smokes, and it was basically a complete back out from the site. Nobody really had some solid angles. If anything, the attention was a little bit stifled. You have to have a little bit more of a uniform idea there after those smokes go down if you're Dynamo Esports. Liability and Co. able to take advantage of that. They had the man presence to be able to take advantage of that. Good work. Dynamo Esports stepping up with pistols. They're going to spread themselves out throughout this map.
A slow start. Try and catch something off. Nobody's really been willing to chomp at the bit of these barriers for most of this entire series, funnily enough. You've maybe seen 1 or 2 W keys out the gate from Caduster to try to catch Dynamo off guard. And for that matter, it actually did. So I wonder if maybe on an eco we'll see him do that again down a lane, though such wide open space is tough to do so.
That's me, myself, and I right there. Those are my 3 personality types. Dynamo Esports.
You can just cycle this for a while, can't you?
Yeah. It's just no peeks and no pixels being given here by Liability. They're holding on to literally the safest positions possible here, other than over on the A side, but over in B, I mean, they're just tucking into the back line. Just trusting that this buy from Dynamo Esports, just trusting that because of the controller setup, they're just gonna collapse back into main after this plant, not continue to push into the back of site. But, however, the smoke did allow for it. T-Man does finally collect that pressure, but he collects the frags instead. A couple of HP left on the jet on the other side. T-Man still looking for a couple of bullets in.
One enemy remaining
here from Liability, but it is a bit of a chance given by Dynamo Esports. Dynamo Esports, at the end of the day, with the smokes that they had, that was a free play.
Yeah. At the end of the day, you did see just utter denial of the site to start things out. You know, nature of Icebox is if you're not going to give anything over, you won't get anything handed over to you. Now, we'll see how this bonus round is acted upon by Dynamo if they can try and get this lead back.
And we're going to listen in on to Dynamo right now.
They're gonna dart, run up. Omen's holding up here.
Wait, where do you want to go?
Just the same belt one way that we always do. Let me drone.
Right now?
They still. No. Just let me clear that drone. That stop line. Omen outlaw.
Okay.
I think shotgun and smoke. Jet should be here. I'm darting 20.
Gotta wait these out.
Yeah, just keep waiting them out. I'm gonna fake noise running away. Stay holding. Remember, they have an outlaw. Don't peek first if you're one. Dart in 5. We're just literally gonna turn this into an exec in 4 seconds. All right, do the belt smoke.
3, 2, 1.
I got ping.
Oh, Vipers here. Be in place.
Do the one way. Nice.
Spike down A.
Wide.
Backside, cage here. Backside.
Do backside. Lower and upper. Lower. Nice. Upper. Outlaw upper. Up and outlaw last too.
Thanks, Jock.
You should do the raptor swing again. So Sonic can move.
12.
One enemy
Nice.
remaining.
He's probably doubling up with them.
Knock off my turret. Holding up.
Okay, I don't want him saving that up.
Fuck, I want it.
Smoke red, blank, smoke red. That works too. Nice, boys. Clean. Down to up if you want it.
That was a nice shot, bro. That was a nice shot.
Good job. I love that angle you take, Stunna.
Well, it was well taken overall by Dynamo, able to turn A-side into a bit of a dungeon crawler at the end of the day. Picks sort of filing in from that anti-eco, and nobody from LCO really able to get anything done this time around.
Yeah, it's cut and dry. This next round is the round for LCO. And as we can probably see a little bit more of that focus on the lanes, because that was just easy there from Dynamo. And that sort of round from Dynamo, we would have had a man with an SMG, we would have had a man with a shotgun over in that lane. You would have had a bit of a buddy system. Liability and Co not exactly affording themselves that same luxury, but here comes Stun. Stun on the front side, gonna be able to take down Caducer. That is just unfortunate, real unfortunate interaction there from Caducer. But Stun continuing to just pick away. He already has one, and he's gonna be able to pick up a second.
Down A.
One more player here on site, Leone. This is just so tough here from Liability and Co, though. They are giving up these long-range interactions that Dynamo Esports simply did not give up a single time on this site. They did not give up a single long-range pixel on this site.
Yeah, this is already the farthest that either team has gotten into A site, especially this early in the game, and honestly, Dynamo haven't even really made the call yet. So this is a really great start to the this half of regulation for Dynamo. Again, you're able to really toy with this rhythm and force some members to second guess things, rotate away, have a much easier time with this site when it's all said and done. And indeed, you only got one member of Liability and Co posted up here. I can feel the snowball starting to roll up mind.
Feeling a bit chilly
30
in here.
seconds left.
The Avalanche is continuing to roll. Liability and Co. They have one man right in the middle of that Avalanche. He's about to turn into one big snowball. It is going to be Leone holding it all down, but that paranoia is actually fantastic. Stunner hits up. Oh, this high low is going to be incredible, but actually Dash is running to the middle of the site instead. That's an incredible spot there from Stunner. But they need to take advantage of the Viper, but somehow Liability and Co. just does not do anything with it. Dynamo Esports, the time was ticking so low, and the setup was there. My goodness, how do those 1v1s end up getting kind of afforded?
I think if maybe you're there a second earlier to set up the pit and then reposition off of it, you're good. Because there was no ability to reposition off the pit. Your pathing from there was very predictable. You're able to cut it short really early. And again, the squad themselves isn't set up. You just have the ult. I mean, Liability and Co is still trying to play preventative when we're mid-exec. It's not going to fly. Dynamo is not going to let that go. And they're going to prey on these easy ISO kills that don't have that backup, that don't have that easy trade.
Now with a bit of a reset this round, Liability and Co finally putting in some attention back over towards the B site. One man has completely gone over into B main. That allows for a 3-man hold of the back of A. Nobody showing any pixels just yet. But this, again, is mostly pistols. Hey. And oh my goodness, the pistols are singing right now. Ian able to catch 2 frags, but hold on, Dynamo. You might just have to give up yet another frag. There's a man stuck in the corner. Stunner coming out with a frag. That gives Scotty a massive chance here. 1v2. Try to be a hero.
Nowhere else checked. So line's only managed by Leone.
I have the spike.
Half the problem's done, and yeah, let's hightail it. Coin flip the other side. Such low health for Caducer as well. He's gonna have to be so careful. Oh, Scotty just might try and go for the backstab here.
Oh, that's incredible.
Oh, man.
30
that's
seconds
not even
left.
optimized. That's just disrespectful.
That's a read and a half. Okay.
We're just going in a circle here.
Great. All right.
Wow.
All right, throw it in a circle flip.
What a beautiful game. I mean, see, he's already so far in a B lane. Now the plan's confirmed. He's going to come back through spawn. I mean, do you have any idea if this is read by Scotty?
You didn't hear it, but he has the perfect position to try to hear something coming back over towards B main. He's going to have the early cutoff in mid, and he has spike planted right for him.
Yeah.
This is the victory formation position here for Dynamo Esports and Scotty. Caducer gonna have a smoke to maybe try to take this down to half. He smokes heavy instead and tries to go for the one-on-one. He had no idea where Scotty was gonna be. And that is the round.
Again, great way to kind of reduce the variables when everything else is so decisive on this map, and Dynamo continuing to just ram right through what's on the field at the time for Liability. And you know, they see they see themselves as very opportunistic at the moment. And again, if they smell a personnel advantage for even a moment, they're gonna really collapse on it. And yeah, these late round conversions, they've gotten a little more complex, but even still, Dynamo's keeping it pretty clean.
Getting salted in. Able to bounce in. One kill off the Hunter's Fury, but liability and kill. Always kept a bit of a weak hold here over here in deep, really because Dynamo Esports, they refuse to touch this site.
My turn.
Now here comes the approach. It's going to be a red carpet into the middle of the site with the Viper's Pit. Nobody here from liability is going to fight immediately. Pick up a big frag. Teammate is able to help out too. Dynamo just giving up one-on-one after one-on-one after one-on-one. And finally, as a gap here for liability and co. It's not like the round is completely over there. You still have the Viper's Pit ready to go. That spray from Scotty
Bomb grenade out.
really brought back the round entirely, but now it is just truth. Diffuser's not going down in space, so technically a bit of a chance, but that is a return to form here for liability and co, especially with the way that they chip through the back side.
Yeah, Dynamo playing a little too individually during that round. It seemed like we had 4 different game plans going on and none of them intertwined. The Viper's Pit getting set up for the early exec looked really clean, but then Blank dies early and figures, okay, I'll go for the Clove Vault to zone out and you know, push everybody away so that we can safely get this spike down without the pit getting interrupted like it has for liability and co on this defense. But not only does Blank not get a kill, but Scotty steps out right after and doesn't get a kill. And from then on, Dynamo is still segmented. There's still one stuck on site, still one stuck on lane. Nobody's really evolved from their pre-plant position. And so you're not able to really generate. Liability and co have a pretty easy way to just, yeah, pick them apart here. Now, Scotty gonna trollops off on his own, does get away with the mid pick, but Ian much quicker with the trade this time.
That's such an important piece of utility too. And he's gonna be stuck all the way back over towards the B side, but at the end of the day, Dynamo here. Gonna be cut on a couple of options, trying to clear out the back of the site. Diffuser readjusts himself alongside one other player. Leone, Blank does get up real close, and no way. Leone just gets exposed. Blank, what a play. 3 kills coming out from Blank. Showcase from Blank, trying to go for yet another one. And now it's a 3-on-1. He could afford to be a little greedy.
I mean, Blank really can play anything is the crazy thing.
Right.
Clove purely because of, you know, how much it lets you, you know, still freely frag. And as the tertiary controller, I'm sure they're not asking him to provide too much on the macro for smokes, you know, initially. But he's really such a role star and able to do everything. He has such, you know, agent diversity, and he can switch up his playstyle so well. I think that this Clove is still a little too frontliney for my taste. We'll see how it, you know, works out in future matches. But at the moment, with the way he's aiming, with the way, you know, he usually aims, it's absolutely amazing to watch.
At least for now, it is starting to get to that time here for liability and co, where these early rounds that they have taken so ungodly slow, something's gonna have to change. Something has to change. At least here for Dynamo, whenever they do end up scaling up into the middle of that A choke point, it is a little bit unfortunate that very consistently 1 defender, 2 defenders are fighting those long-range opponents, are fighting those players that might be stuck over in heaven, that might be stuck over in rafters, when in reality, they still have to worry about a player that is right in their face in the form of Blank. So again, this A control from Dynamo, both on their defensive side, both on the attacking side, has just been so impressive. But it does seem like, similar to that first half, only 1 or 2 puzzle pieces are kind of remaining here for at least a competitive round, at least more competitive rounds.
Yeah, it feels so close to stringing, you know, these competitive rounds closer and closer together. Because again, with Icebox, when it's so figured out, when it's a map that is so unlocked, it really feels like making 1 bad call or 1 mistake when it comes to your, you know, you're aiming in an isolated fight. It feels like such a round-shattering mistake.
Revealing area.
Get out of my way.
Teams definitely trying to stay careful while also trying to continue getting the drop on people. And Stunna has another Blade Storm. He's gonna let you know that he does. Ian falls early, and ain't no way nobody's going on that A side at the moment.
That recon was also fantastic. Recon there was fantastic. The man in the middle of the site protected. Not in a way from short. That's finally going to be, again, that was more or less the adjustment that I was waiting there from liability. Just a little bit more of that fight in that early choke point. See if they have kind of the chutzpah to do it, but it does not happen. It is going to be 2 players remaining here for liability and co. Surely maybe thinking about a save, but saving a stinger not exactly the biggest deal.
One enemy remaining.
Down Leone, no chance to get even more extra credits. Dynamo Esports, 1 round away from the next round of playoffs.
Yeah, 1 round away from the quarterfinals, and they've started to really run away with this. You can tell, starting to clean things up, punish way harder for poor mistakes, for miniature errors here in this game. Just lagging around a little too long, has all too often dusted this into a 5v4. And again, we saw it on the previous map. Dynamo's been doing such a good job with basic trading from taking on those corners and, again, sticking the right amount of people in the right place. Saw Alcio do that with the trade on top of Stunner once he started frontlining, but again, the reaction time needs to be consistent through every interaction.
And oh my goodness, and I was begging for an adjustment, so maybe they heard me, but this is just, it's a hard read, isn't it? It's 4 players in the back. Yeah, however, that recon dart ended up getting picked down. This lockdown is going to have to just be that red carpet into the middle of the site here for Dynamo. Liability and Co, they have the exact same tool here. Their KJ has been pushed up back into kitchen, but he has presence here on site, but it just does not matter through the smoke. Stun is going to be able to take down Caduster, and this is going to be long and strenuous here for Liability to try to get back into the site. It's going to be quite the process. They need this recon to go through. The L drone's only able to get 1 player who is very well known, very mobile. Doesn't matter where the information is taken from this guy. Stunna stepping up, lockdown coming in at a fairly good time, but this gap is going to be huge. There's going to be players over back in yellow that are going to be just fine, but there goes the triple push, quadruple push, there goes the spray from Raccoon, not able to get anything. Dynamo still have a man advantage. That spray is huge. Big spray coming in from Scotty, and that's going to be even bigger from Blank to finish off Dynamo Esports' path to the quarterfinals.
Continuing to hold their own throughout and looking better and better as the map progressed. Dynamo, no doubt, looks ready for these quarterfinal games. Liability and Co kept coming with the challenges, and the aim was there, at least for most of these rounds. But at the end of the day, the teamwork, it really coalesces, and it shows on that main stage.
That defensive side was so unbelievable, at least in terms of sticking to the game plan. Raccoon on that front side, frag after frag after frag after frag. 6 rounds in, having almost 15 frags on the board. That alone already puts that team into a beautiful position. It was the same thing back over in that first map, and you did need to have sort of that pug squad mentality from Liability, able to just kind of deflect any bad situation and just move on. They were able to do so. They had some individuals to be able to step up, but on this type of map, they just were not able to even put the individuals into the right position. They didn't have the time to do so. Again, just a systematic win in that second half coming in from Dynamo.
Exactly. Nothing mental in the slightest. You can bet that Liability and Co, they're definitely happy with the performance they came in with today, happy with the match they got to put up with, and happy to stick around for the rest of this tournament to watch all their friends play. But for Dynamo, it's going to be a long day. They got 1 more match to play, and it'll be another sudden death one in the quarterfinals. I think we're going to get to see how they feel about it in a little bit.
All right, we're going to talk to Dynamo. We're going to talk to at least one of them winners over on the stage. But ladies and gentlemen, do not tune away. We still have so many games happening off stage. We might be able to put some of them up on stream, but do not tune away. We'll be right back with that winners interview.